You're watching Eastern and Southern Kentucky's #1 source for news. Mountain News First at 4 with Steve Hensley and Sky Alert Weather with Shane Smith.
Another round of severe storms could be moving in. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, a tornado watch is in effect for much of the region until 9 o'clock tonight, and we have declared a severe weather alert day. Meteorologist Brandon Orr has more on where the storms are right now. Brandon?
Steve, we've been watching it throughout the day today, and storms have finally developed in the bluegrass around Lexington and the northern bluegrass, and now they're starting to push into eastern Kentucky, and they'll do so over the next few hours. You can actually see where that tornado watch is. It's mainly along areas around the Mountain Parkway, especially up towards the northern Big Sandy, so Johnson, Martin, Floyd, over towards Magoffin, down towards Breathitt, including Jackson, Owsley, and also Rockcastle counties, as a chance for tornadoes exists with some of these thunderstorms. There's just enough instability in the atmosphere to get some of these storms to rotate a little bit, and some of those are doing just that up there towards the northern bluegrass. So right now we're not seeing too much here in eastern Kentucky. In fact, some locations are even getting some sunshine right now. We're watching one batch of storms that's right just to the north of Pulaski County, to the north of Somerset. This will cross I-75 right around Rockcastle County over the next several hours. I expect these storms to increase in intensity as they push into eastern Kentucky, as we now have our temperatures up into the middle 60s. Another batch of strong to severe thunderstorms is just to the north of Lexington. This is going to cross I-64 and move down towards the Mountain Parkway. There is some tornado warnings currently associated with some of those thunderstorms. So we're going to time those out for you, Steve, in detail and tell you when they'll finally start to push on out. That's coming up.
All right, could be a busy evening ahead, Brandon. Thank you very much. Tornado watch now been expanded to include more of eastern Kentucky as these storms get closer to our viewing area. In fact, our first warning, I think, was just issued.
Yeah, we just have a new warning that popped up just as we were getting ready to go on air right now. We had a little bit of sunshine a little bit earlier on this afternoon, and that's what's helping fuel some of these thunderstorms. It got our temperatures up into the middle 60s. You can see what it looks like outside now on our U-Pike camera. This is looking over downtown Pikeville. Just a little bit ago, they had some sunshine that was moving into downtown Pikeville, and now the clouds are starting to move back in. But we already have the temperatures up into the middle 60s. You can see a tornado watch is in effect for parts of the area. That goes until 9 o'clock. That was just expanded. So if you previously were listening to us earlier, you notice it was mainly around the Mountain Parkway. Now it's been expanded farther to the south. So it now includes Pikeville on over to Hazard, Leslie County, Clay, Laurel, including London, and over towards Pulaski County. That goes until 9 o'clock. You can see those exact counties scrolling across the top of your screen right now. But pinpoint Doppler shows some of these thunderstorms that continue to push across the area over the next several hours. They developed in towards the northern bluegrass right around Lexington, and now they're starting to push to the south and east, and they're racing to the south and east at around 60 miles per hour, and they're starting to push on into the area. So you can see we'd have one new warning that has just popped up right as we are going on air. This one goes for portions of Bath County, Menifee, Montgomery, Morgan, and Rowan County. So this includes downtown areas up towards Rowan County, like Moorhead. And that goes, let's see if we can pop it back up here, around 5:15 p.m. as this line of thunderstorms continues to dive on to the south and east. Now you can see how far in advance they're putting out that warning. These storms are very strong just to the north of Lexington, and they're diving to the south and east fairly quickly. There's another batch though, right around Rockcastle County near Mount Vernon. That's going to cross I-75 over the next couple of hours. I've been noticing the intensity on this one also increasing as it moves into eastern Kentucky. So while we're mainly dry right now in most areas, within the next several hours, we're going to see some pretty strong thunderstorms start to rumble across the area. This is the main batch of storms that push through north of Lexington. There's been some tornado warnings. In fact, they're still ongoing north of I-64. This is going to cross over I-64 and go down the Mountain Parkway as we go throughout the next several hours and into the early evening. And right now there's no signs of it weakening. That's why they put this severe thunderstorm warning that goes all the way out towards Rowan County near Moorhead, pretty far out in advance. Now the main threats associated with some of these thunderstorms is the wind and also the hail with some of these storms as well. But again, an isolated tornado can't be ruled out as these storms move to the south and east, with the main areas, the largest threat being around the Mountain Parkway. So you can actually see that little bit of a break that we had a little bit earlier. That pushed on off towards the east. We got some sunshine, and that's what caused our temperatures to go up, and that's fueling some of the showers and thunderstorms that we're seeing around during the day today. But the good news, and this is something we're all looking forward to, is sunny skies during the day tomorrow. In fact, going to be a complete opposite day of today. So we have something to look forward to, with temperatures slightly above average for this time of year into the low to mid 70s. So Steve, just have to get rid of some of the storms tonight before we see much drier weather.
Okay, could be a long night ahead because we still have that line that is not even in the viewing area yet, but it's getting close.
That's right, and we'll have updates on social media, and you can also catch an update of Pinpoint Doppler and Mountain News at 6.
All right, thank you, Brandon. Straight ahead on First at 4, are hands-free devices better for drivers? More storms moving in and more severe thunderstorm warnings issued.
That's right. We are watching one batch of storms that we are noting an increase in pinpoint Doppler of intensity, and now there's a severe thunderstorm warning out for Clay, Jackson, Laurel, Lee, Owsley, Pulaski, and Rockcastle counties. That goes until 5:30. And then we have another warning a little bit farther up towards the north. That includes Rowan County, over towards Menifee and Morgan. That goes for downtown Moorhead as well until 5:15. All of these storms will be diving onto the south and east, and there is also a little bit of rotation noted with some of those. You'll want to stick with us throughout the day. Keep updated on social media, on Facebook and Twitter. You can search for WYMT on there, on our website WYMT.com, and here on Mountain News at 6.
In those storms to the north, there have been several tornado warnings out of those already, right?
Just to the north of Lexington in the northern bluegrass, there's been some tornado warnings. So we're going to be watching pinpoint Doppler for rotation in any of these storms as well, and we'll be sure to let you know on air.
Of course, we'll break in as necessary and have a complete update tonight at 6. Thanks so much for joining us for First at 4. We'll see you again at 6, if not before. Have a great afternoon.
Hello friends, Chief Meteorologist Shane Smith here alongside Brandon Orr, and we are tracking 2 tornado warnings entering the WYMT coverage area. Let's not waste any time. Get on over to Pinpoint Doppler radar as we have 2 thunderstorms capable of producing tornadoes in our coverage area. We're going to start off with the first storm down in the southern portion of our coverage area, and we are going to zoom in and take a look at this. This is for portions of Jackson County, Rockcastle County, and northern Laurel County. This tornado warning goes until 5:15, and once again, this is a tornado warning for southwestern Jackson County, north central Laurel County, and Rockcastle County. Once again, until 5:15, we are seeing the potential of a radar-indicated tornado. The strongest portion of this cell just to the northwest of Mount Vernon, near Broadhead and Crab Orchard. It's this portion of the cell right in here which has us concerned for the potential of a little bit of rotation. Also, large hail possible inside this thunderstorm. We are seeing some hail estimates getting upwards of maybe a quarter size hail, maybe a little bit larger, getting closer to $half size hail just to the northwest of Broadhead. This thunderstorm, very potent, has really blown up in the last half hour or so, and it is moving down into the south and east at about 35 miles per hour. So we can put a storm track on this storm and show you some of the communities impacted. If you're in Mount Vernon or near Mount Vernon, I would go ahead and seek shelter. Livingston, Broadhead, you all need to be in your storm safety place right now. That is the lowest level of your home, preferably a basement if you have one, but if not, the first floor will work. Need to be in an interior room like a closet or a bathroom without windows. And the most important thing is you need to cover your head, protect your head. If you got like a bicycle helmet, old football helmet, put that on and ride this thing out as it is working down to the south and the east at 35 miles per hour. Here's some of the towns in the path of this storm. Lake Limaville, Denaro, Middle Fork, those towns are in the path of this storm as it works off to the south and the east. Northern Laurel County, right along I-75 near the Livingston exit. There near the Rockcastle River in northern Laurel County. These places also in the path of this storm. McKee, you're seeing some strong thunderstorm action moving in right now. The worst of it just off to your west, but the portion of the storm we're concerned with is still well off to your west. But even if you're in western Jackson County, I would go ahead and seek shelter. Let's move up to the north now. Take a look at the northern portion of this, or the northern cell that also has a tornado warning on it. This is quite a large tornado warning covering a large area, and that includes portions of Bath County, Fleming County, Menifee County, Montgomery, and Rowan County. Now, this does include the city of Moorhead, so if you happen to have friends or family at Moorhead State University, you want to go ahead and tell them to seek shelter now, as this thunderstorm is going to be passing just to the south of Moorhead. The worst of this storm looks to be on a trajectory towards West Liberty. Morgan County, you're not included in this warning just yet. You're only under a severe thunderstorm warning right now. But I'm going ahead and giving you folks in Morgan County a heads up. This storm looks like it will be on a path towards West Liberty. And once again, West Liberty, one of the hardest hit areas during the March 2nd tornado outbreak. Now, the good news is this thunderstorm does not look as strong as the ones we saw on March 2nd. But that doesn't mean they can't produce damage, and that doesn't mean we can't get a quick spin-up tornado. The atmosphere, really different than what we saw on March 2nd. We had a prime atmosphere that day for tornadoes. Today, we've got a lot of shear. That's just a lot of spin in the atmosphere, but we don't have the energy we had back 2 years ago. So these storms definitely have the capability of producing some damage or some quick tornadoes, but I'm not expecting those long track, very damaging tornadoes like we saw 2 years ago. Brandon Orr is joining us, been monitoring this storm system all day. Brandon, what do you got?
Well, I've been checking in with the National Weather Service on both of these storms, the one that's up towards Rowan County near Moorhead and down towards Menifee County, as well as the other one. And we're zooming out pinpoint Doppler now so you can actually see both of those. We're not getting any reports of tornadoes or funnel clouds, at least right now. Sometimes it takes a while for those reports to get relayed over to us. But right now, there's no reports of any tornadoes or funnel clouds. But what they're looking at is they're seeing a little bit of rotation on radar, and that's what prompted both of these tornado warnings. And I'll go over them just one more time, just in case we have a few that are just tuning in right now. This one goes towards Bath, Menifee, Montgomery, over towards Rowan County, including Moorhead until 5:15. And then we have a second batch of thunderstorms. This one goes for Jackson, Laurel, and Rockcastle County until 5:15. This will cross I-75 here, showing just about any time right around Mount Vernon. That warning also includes downtown McKee.
That is correct, Brandon. And once again, this is a potent thunderstorm complex. Right now, honestly, my main concern is more for this southern cell entering northern Laurel County, rolling through portions of Rockcastle and Jackson County. Brandon, if we can zoom back in on that and maybe turn the National Weather Service Jackson Level 2 radar on, you'll know what I'm talking about there. And we'll take a close look at this thunderstorm right now, where the core of that is currently north of Broadhead, and we'll get this radar cleaned up for you in just a second, folks. But what we're seeing right now is the most intense portion of this thunderstorm north of London. It's near Mount Vernon, and we are seeing some weak rotation just to the north of Mount Vernon. So if you're in Mount Vernon, near Broadhead, heading southeast towards Livingston, right there along 75, right through here, you need to be seeking your tornado safety place right now. Once again, we are talking about you need to be at the lowest level of your home, preferably a basement, a closet, a bathroom without windows in the center of the home. You don't want to be on an outside wall, as these winds are Doppler estimated right now. We're seeing some gusts even without any rotation of 70 to 80 miles per hour. So once again, we have a tornado watch out for pretty much the entire area except down near the Tennessee border until 9 o'clock tonight. A tornado watch means conditions are favorable for tornadic thunderstorms. That means you need to be alert, you need to stay aware. The warning, which we have right now for Laurel, Rockcastle, and Jackson counties, and also up into Rowan County, means that either Doppler radar has indicated the potential of a tornado, or that a tornado or funnel cloud has been spotted by a storm spotter. Now, right now, we don't have any reports of funnel clouds or tornadoes on the ground, but the Doppler radar is indicating that we have some very strong rotation with both of these storms. So if you're in Rowan County, including Moorhead right now, or also down into the eastern portion of Jackson County, including Broadhead, Mount Vernon, down towards Livingston, western Jackson County, including McKee, and into northern Laurel County, including East Bernstead, you need to be seeking shelter and following these tornado safety tips. Basement or lowest level of the home, away from windows, as much room between you and the outside world as possible. If you can, get under a sturdy piece of furniture, get in a bathtub, cover it with a mattress, a helmet, protect your head. That is the biggest thing with these tornado-related fatalities. It's not that the tornado will pick someone up in most cases, that they'll get hit by debris. And then we will see also that if you're in a mobile home, you need to find sturdier structure. If you're in the car, you need to find somewhere safer to be. That is not a safe place to be. We're going to go back to pinpoint Doppler radar and continue to monitor these storms. Once again, these warnings for Laurel County, Jackson County, and Rockcastle County until 5:15. So about another 20 minutes on those. And the same story up into Rowan and Menifee County, and also folks in northern Morgan County, including West Liberty. Not under a tornado warning right now, but I would go ahead and advise you to seek shelter in a sturdy location, as we are seeing the potential of that rotation on the northern portion of this storm to eventually work its way on down towards West Liberty. Although the good news is, at least it looks like right now, Brandon, that northern cell not looking as organized as it was just a little while ago.
It is weakening just a little bit. It's still producing some small hail in some locations. We can actually see that on radar, that there's a little bit of hail within this storm, as well as some weak rotation. So while the rotation is still there, that's why that tornado warning continues for Menifee County and up towards Rowan County near Moorhead. But as Shane was mentioning a little bit earlier, that's only one storm that we're seeing with the tornado warning. The other batch of storms is a little bit farther down towards the south, and this goes out for portions of Rockcastle County out towards Laurel County, including Jackson, and that goes until 5:15. So we have about 20 more minutes left on that warning, Shane. This one still has some rotation on radar. I'm looking at a couple of other radar products that we have behind the scenes where we can actually see a little bit of rotation with this storm. And also you can notice a little bit of pink there on pinpoint Doppler. That's also showing a little bit of hail out of these storms, up to quarter size in some locations.
And that is moving right towards Broadhead as we speak. Once again, folks, if you're just now joining us, we're coming up about 5 minutes till the top of the hour. You're watching WYMT TV out of Hazard, Kentucky, DTV 50, and we are, or 57, and we are continuing to watch that storm producing the potential of a tornado near Mount Vernon and Broadhead as we speak. Pinpoint Doppler radar showing a very strong rotation signature and a very strong hail signature into portions of Rockcastle County, moving into western Jackson County and northern Laurel County. And once again, this is a very potent thunderstorm. We are seeing lots of lightning in this particular cell right on top of Mount Vernon catching the worst of this right now, and it will be in Livingston within the next 10 minutes. So if you live in southern Rockcastle County, down into northern Laurel County, southwestern Jackson County, I would be seeking shelter. Folks in McKee, right now you are included in that warning. It looks like the worst is going to pass off to your west, but go ahead and stay in your safe spots just for another little bit to make sure this thing doesn't turn east on us. But right now, our main concern with this storm down near Mount Vernon and Anvil and places to the south and to the east. Also, secondary storm we are very concerned about is a tornado warning thunderstorm into portions of Rowan and Menifee counties. Also note a severe thunderstorm warning with the cell extends into Morgan County. And you folks in West Liberty, very familiar with severe weather after what happened March 2nd, 2012. I want to stress this storm not looking as strong, but that doesn't mean it couldn't cause a little bit of problems. So you folks need to take shelter. Once again, not trying to scare anybody, just trying to keep folks weather aware as we have two tornado warned thunderstorms, both of which expire at 5:15. So that's good, at least for the bookkeeping side of things. Easier to keep track of the expiration times. But both of these thunderstorms showing signs of rotation on Doppler radar. Even without rotation, we're seeing the possibility of a wind gust of 70 to 80 miles per hour. So these thunderstorms packing quite a bit of wind. Also, the potential of some hail, and a large hail at that, especially with this southern storm. Notice that pink showing up on pinpoint Doppler down in Rockcastle County. You remember with yesterday's thunderstorms, we had hail covering I-75 into portions of Madison County. That same kind of setup can happen today. There's a lot of cold air in the upper levels of the atmosphere, a lot of strong wind, and both of those are being brought down by these thunderstorms. So it's the perfect recipe for some hail, and it's a very good recipe for either some straight line winds or some quick spin up tornadoes. Now, once again, we continue to track both of these thunderstorms as we come up on the 5 o'clock hour. They've got about 17, 18 minutes left on both of these warnings. And we are going to continue to watch this, continue to track these thunderstorms. These storms have a history of producing some damaging winds, some gusty winds, and some hail as they came in from central Kentucky. Not been too bad just yet from what we've seen. Haven't seen a ton of damage reports, and that's good news, and that's very similar to yesterday. We had several warnings out, but not a lot of damage. I'm hoping we can keep the same way going today, although we did see some hail crack some windshields up near Frankfort earlier with some of those storms as they moved through, and they are continuing to work their way off to the south and the east. This storm system down near London and Mount Vernon moving to the southeast at 35. And our storm up near Moorhead and West Liberty in Menifee County is working down to the south and to the east, and it is moving a little bit faster. It's moving at 55 miles per hour. So right now we are zoomed in on the southern storm. You can see Broadhead, the hail core, right on top of you right now, Mount Vernon. This storm working in your direction will be there momentarily. Same story, Livingston. Same story down towards Victory. So you folks in southeastern portions of Jackson County, down right on the Rockcastle and Laurel County lines, Livingston, Pongo, Victory. Let's put a few roads on there, Brandon, and see some of the towns that are in the path of this storm.
Okay, right now it's right over downtown Mount Vernon. So you can see that goes right along I-75 right at the Mount Vernon exit. And the only report that I've been checking in with the National Weather Service, the only one we have so far is out towards Rockcastle County, report of a hail to quarter size. That's about 1 inch in diameter. That's right near Broadhead in Rockcastle County in the western half of the county. But for the most part, that's all we've seen, at least in eastern Kentucky, at least for right now. No reports of any funnel clouds or any tornadoes right now, but we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to switch over to our other pinpoint Doppler, and you can actually see something a little bit different. A pinpoint Doppler can actually show where the wind's direction is and within some of these thunderstorms, and you can see the rotation, right, Shane?
Yeah, that's right. So we're going to go ahead and pull that up while Brandon takes care of some things on the other computer and gets that restarted. And you can see, here's what we call velocity mode, folks. And now what we're looking at in this form of pinpoint Doppler is we are looking at wind speed. Green winds are going away from the radar. Red winds are going towards the radar. And you can see this little area here where the green and the red comes together. That is an area of rotation. That is where we see the potential of, if we do have a tornado, where it would be. Right now, between Mount Vernon and Livingston, if you're on I-75 between Mount Vernon and Livingston right now, or know somebody who is, you need to tell them to be on the lookout. This thing is going to work pretty much southeast, parallel to I-75, at least till it gets past Livingston, and it may even cross into the northern end of Laurel County along I-75 as we're seeing this rotation in the thunderstorm, and that is at least indicating to us the potential of a tornado. We haven't seen any reports of funnel clouds or tornadoes from our Storm Spotter network or from the National Weather Service, but this radar signature is enough to at least indicate to us there is a good bit of rotation here, and that's enough to at least make us concerned for the potential of a quick spin-up tornado. And even if we don't see one, this thunderstorm, at least looking from some Doppler estimates, packing wind speed close to 70 miles per hour, and that is enough to cause some damage. And we will continue to monitor that storm as it works off to the south and the east. Once again, some of the towns in the path of that storm: Livingston, down towards East Bernstead, Anvil. This will be cutting it close near you, down towards Hazel Patch. And as that storm continues to work south and east, we will continue to track that storm and continue to keep a close eye on that. And Brandon, are we ready to switch back over to regular pinpoint? Have you got the sweeps working again?
Yes, we can switch over to pinpoint Doppler, and you can see the two areas of thunderstorms that we're concerned about right now. As we mentioned, one is up towards Moorhead. This one's getting set to move in towards Morgan County. So if you're in Morgan County right now near West Liberty, you're likely hearing some claps of thunder as this storm starts to approach. They're moving to the east pretty quickly, Shane, right around 60 miles per hour. Also, in addition to the threat of a tornado to develop at any time, because both of these storms have rotation, there's also some large hail associated with some of these thunderstorms, up to quarter size. Yesterday, like Shane was talking about a little bit earlier, we were getting photos in of some hail that was covering the ground on I-75. It almost looked like snow. You could just about plow it. And now we're seeing some more hail out of some of these thunderstorms. The freezing level is actually only around 8,000 to 9,000 feet up. That's when it goes below freezing. So a lot of the hail within some of these thunderstorms are making it down to the ground. But if you're just joining us, we'll go over the warnings one more time. We have one that is up towards Bath, Fleming, Menifee, Montgomery, and Rowan counties, including Moorhead. This goes until 5:15, so we have a little over 10 minutes more till that one expires. And then we have a second one. This one goes a little bit farther down towards the south along I-75 for Jackson, Laurel, and Rockcastle counties. That one also expires here coming up in just a little over 10 minutes. And we're checking with the National Weather Service to see if any of these warnings get expanded, because right now they still have a little bit of rotation with them. And while we haven't had any reports of a tornado or funnel cloud right now, we could see that potential for a tornado to develop at any time. So if you see one develop, here's some tornado safety tips that you can see on our other weather computer. Take shelter in a basement or lowest floor of your room away from windows, and you can put as much space between you and the outside walls as possible. So an interior room or closet. If you have a basement, that would be even better. If you're in a car, it would be best to abandon it. So if you know anyone who's going out near I-75 near Rockcastle County, it's best just to call them up and tell them to seek shelter somewhere. You can actually see the difference between a watch and a warning. Now, we had the tornado watch that was put out a little bit earlier on this afternoon. That means conditions are favorable for tornadic thunderstorms to develop. Just like we had the severe weather alert day a little bit earlier, mentioning all the conditions are right for tornadoes to develop. Now, if you're under a warning, like we mentioned, some locations are, that's where we're seeing the best potential for an immediate threat of Doppler radar like we're seeing, or we're seeing an actual report of a funnel cloud. Shane?
All right, so that's right, Brandon. So what we're going to do right now is just once again recap those tornado safety tips while we do a little bit of work on pinpoint Doppler behind the scenes. And once again, folks, for you folks in Laurel County, Rockcastle County, Jackson County, in the Menifee County, we are seeing that the potential is there for a bit of rotation in these thunderstorms. We do have that tornado warning till 5:15 once again for Menifee, Rowan, Laurel, Rockcastle, and Jackson counties. And what we're going to continue to do is just watch these storms even without the potential of a tornado. These thunderstorms have the potential of producing 70-mile-per-hour winds as well as some large hail. We are talking quarter-size hail, maybe even a little bit larger than that. Also the potential of some accumulating hail. And once again, these thunderstorms quite powerful as they work their way off to the south and the east. This line of storms near north of London, near Mount Vernon, working southeast at 35. The line of storms looks like it's missing the bulk of Moorhead as it gets ready to move on into portions of Morgan County. So that's some good news for our friends up in Moorhead. But we will continue to track these storms as they work off to the south and the east with the potential of tornadoes in both of them. Some strong rotation showing up right now just north of the Laurel County line, Brandon.
That's right, and we're going to switch back over. This is what we call velocity. It's basically a fancy term for looking at what the wind direction is within some of the thunderstorms. So the green is actually going towards the radar, and the red is winds that are going away from the radar. So if you notice when the greens are right near the reds, that's where we're seeing some rotation, and we're seeing exactly that in the southern portion of Rockcastle County. This just passed over downtown Mount Vernon. So Shane, I'm sure there's some people out there who's been capturing some photos and know what's going on out there. You can always send your photos in to us to pics, P-I-C-S, at WYMT.com, or you can log on to our Facebook page. We're always on Facebook interacting with our viewers during severe weather. You guys have a lot of questions, and we've been answering them throughout the day today. So you can go on and share your photos with us. It really helps us tell the weather story. But you can see the rotation on pinpoint Doppler, and I'll try to draw it on here for you. The red going away from the radar and the green going towards it, and you can actually see that's exactly where the rotation is, right over Sinks near Livingston. This is moving to the east near Cruz and Peoples over towards Welchburg and Green Hill. That's as we start to get into portions of Jackson County. As these storms, they're moving pretty quickly on off towards the south and east. Some of them are moving right around 55, 60 miles per hour. So we're not looking at much of a hail threat within a lot of, or I shouldn't say hail threat because there is some hail falling, a flooding threat because they're moving pretty progressively off to the south and east. So just some heavy ponding of water on some of the roadways as they move east very quickly. So again, we're watching two areas of thunderstorms that are pushing through eastern Kentucky, both of which have tornado warnings with them in addition to large hail up to quarter size. Again, the first one goes out for portions, and I'm trying to pull it up here again for you, for southwestern Rowan County, northern Menifee counties. That goes until around 5:15, so we have about 7 more minutes left on that one, and we're going to be checking in with the National Weather Service to see if they actually expand that to the south and east. And then the other area that we're seeing that tornado warning for, that goes until 5:15 as well, with quarter-size hail possible, and some of these moving to the southeast at 55 miles per hour. That goes also through portions of north central Laurel County, central Rockcastle, and southwestern Jackson counties. Again, that also goes until 5:15. There's some decent rotation with that one in southern Rockcastle right now. So if you're in Laurel County or down towards Jackson County, you should be in your safe place, because a tornado could develop at any time. Even though we haven't seen any reports of a tornado, we're seeing enough rotation on radar that one could develop at any minute. Eventually, that storm will make it down into Clay County. So if you're down towards Clay County, around Manchester and areas over towards Leslie County, you want to stay updated with this storm as it pushes on off towards the south and east. Shane?
That's right, Brandon. And if we can switch back to our primary radar source, I've got a few towns and a few roads plotted up on here to help us map out where the worst of this storm is right now. And if you're in the town of Cruz, near North Lexington Avenue, Hensley Lane, the town of Victory, town of Peoples, and the town of Dango, this is where the strongest portion of this storm is as it gets ready to cross from into portions of Jackson County, western Jackson County, and northern Laurel County. And once again, folks, this is a really potent thunderstorm. We're also noticing this little notch in the reflectivity east of Mount Vernon near Livingston, and that at least indicates to us the potential is there for a little bit of rotation and maybe even a tornado. Brandon, if you could turn the NOWRAD data off on this. I think we got Jackson back up and running, and we are going to continue to watch this thunderstorm as it pushes off to the south and the east. There we go. Here's the latest data up for you, and you can see this thunderstorm showing quite a bit of pink in the radar signature just to the west of Anvil, and that is once again a very strong indication of hail. We're talking maybe quarter-size hail with that kind of a radar signature. Also hearing a little bit of wind here into Hazard as thunderstorms are continuing to develop pretty much north of Highway 80. No warnings on those just yet, and thankfully it looks like the Weather Service is going to let that northern warning go. A portion of it just getting expired. We're going to wait and see if that the other part of it up into portions of Menifee and Rowan County also are allowed to expire. But yeah, they've just taken, looks like, Rowan County out and are focusing in Menifee County. So some good news there. That thunderstorm south of Moorhead heading towards West Liberty, just north of Frenchburg right now, is weakening. And we're going to send it back over to Brandon.
Yeah, we actually have a new severe thunderstorm warning out. This one, let's see here, we just have a couple new warnings getting updated. This one goes out for Johnson, Magoffin, Menifee, Morgan, Rowan County, as well as Elliott and Floyd. So it's a pretty large warning. That goes until 6:15. Has some wind gusts to 60 miles per hour and winds to hail, I should say, to around $half size. So that's that new box that you can see just pop up for parts of the Big Sandy, including, I'll name the counties again in case you missed them: Elliott, Floyd, Johnson, Magoffin, Menifee, Morgan, and Rowan County until 6:15, Shane.
All right, thank you very much for that, Brandon. Once again, that new severe thunderstorm warning out. Thankfully, they are not continuing the tornado warning, as it looks like that thunderstorm has weakened a bit as it is working off to the south and the east. Some very good news there. But our main concern, still this southern storm, and it's still looking quite healthy as it moves into portions of western Jackson County and northern Laurel County and exiting Rockcastle County. So we're going to zoom pinpoint Doppler back in towards the Rockcastle River along I-75 and keep an eye on this thing as it continues to work its way off to the south and the east. Some very broad rotation still showing up. I'm looking at some of our radar products behind the scene, just doing a little analysis on the fly, and some very strong wind, even without the rotation, showing up just southwest of Anvil, actually almost now due west of Anvil, about 5-6 miles, 7 miles west of Anvil. So there we are seeing the potential for some strong wind gusts, even without any rotation, of close to 70, maybe even 80 miles per hour. Some hail showing up there, also potentially just to the west of Anvil. So this is a very potent storm that is getting ready to move into the heart of southern Jackson County, northern Laurel County. Friends over in Clay County, be on the lookout. This is eventually going to work its way down towards Manchester here within the next hour or so. And we're coming up on 5:15, just waiting to see what the Weather Service does with this tornado warning, if they continue to or decide to continue it and expand it, or just let the severe thunderstorm warning cover it. So we're going to continue to stay with this storm as long as it has a tornado warning on it. That's our policy here at WYMT. As long as we have a tornado warning in our coverage area, we do cover it. And once again, very strong thunderstorm just to the west of Anvil. If you're in Anvil or in any portion of western Jackson County or northern Laurel County, I'd be seeking shelter in the lowest floor of your home. Get to a basement or closet or bathroom without windows, and be sure to cover your head and stay in the center of the room, as these thunderstorms definitely mean business. Not the strongest storms we've ever seen in eastern Kentucky, but definitely potent enough to cause some problems. And there is still quite a bit of lightning with these storms. We haven't seen a ton of lightning with them today, but still a fair bit just west of Anvil. And once again, that is a healthy thunderstorm. Anytime you see lightning, you see that hail signature, you see the wind signatures that we are seeing. And it looks like, Brandon, a new tornado warning has just been issued.
Yeah, they just expanded that just within the past about 15 seconds or so. And they expanded that again to the south and east. And I'm going to pull up the counties there for you for that tornado warning. This is the same one that just moved through Mount Vernon and Rockcastle County. There's still some decent rotation with it. So they issued that tornado warning for Clay, Jackson, and Laurel counties. That goes until 6 o'clock. So for the next 45 minutes or so. Radar is indicating some rotation located with this storm, and it's moving on off towards the east fairly quickly at around 55 miles per hour. So you can see Clay, Jackson, and Laurel counties are next in line for this thunderstorm as it continues to dive off towards the south and east. So locations impacted by this storm. It's moving in the next 5 minutes over towards Moores Creek, over towards Benge and Foggertown. That's around 5:25, and Seidel and Burning Springs around 5:30. So if you're out towards Burning Springs, you have about 15 minutes before this area of rotation makes it over. Again, we do not have any reports of funnel clouds or tornadoes with these thunderstorms, at least in eastern Kentucky for right now. But they could produce a tornado or funnel cloud at any time as they move on off towards the south and east at around 55 miles per hour. And Shane, you can actually see some of the counties when we put the storm track on it that are in the path of this storm.
Yeah, that's right. We're taking a look at some of the communities and the towns in the path of this storm. Atlanta, you're up under the gun in the next minute. Tyner, you're at 5:18. Datha and Lagnow around 5:21. And this storm moving to the southeast, it has picked up speed, now moving at 55 miles per hour. It was moving a little slower as it was back off to the west, but this thunderstorm really starting to pick up some momentum. The hail signature not looking as strong as it was earlier, but folks, as we've talked about several times, covering severe weather here in eastern Kentucky, thunderstorms tend to cycle a little bit. They'll weaken, then they'll strengthen, and it's just a back and a forth. So right now we may be in a little bit of a weakening phase, but that doesn't mean we need to let our guard down, as this thing could pick back up. Remember, we had that tornado earlier in the year over in Leslie County, and we are continuing to watch the potential of another storm. But once again, not seeing any reports of funnel clouds yet, not seeing any confirmed tornadoes on the ground. This has all been Doppler indicated, but once again, very potent thunderstorm working its way off to the south and the east. This warning going to take us all the way up until 6 o'clock. So we're going to stay with this as long as this warning's out. Yes. And for you folks over into portions of southern Jackson County, northern Laurel County, and now northwestern Clay County. And this warning is right on the edge of the Manchester city limits. So even though Manchester, you're not included in this warning just yet, probably a good idea to go ahead and seek shelter, as this thunderstorm will be barreling down on you, I'd say here in about 20 to 30 minutes or so. As it is moving to the southeast at 55 miles per hour. And by the way, the crow flies, I'm guessing that's about 20, maybe 30 miles up from where we are seeing that rotation on radar. And we are continuing to track this severe weather as it pushes off to the southeast. Don't want to forget our friends up in the Big Sandy. We have got portions of the Big Sandy also under severe thunderstorm warnings right now. Not quite as potent as what we're seeing down to the south, but I know folks in West Liberty a little bit nervous, always get a little bit edgy when severe weather comes around. And this is not looking as strong as it was. We are now down to a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15 for Bath, Elliott, Floyd, Johnson, Magoffin, Menifee, Morgan, and Rowan counties. And Rowan County, you're pretty much in the clear for this. Same story. Back over towards Menifee County, this is pretty much going to be anywhere south of 64 at this point. West Liberty, it's going to be rolling on through here in the next 15-20 minutes. Gusty winds, 60 miles per hour, maybe some small hail, dime size, maybe up to penny size. This thunderstorm not looking as impressive as it was earlier when we had the tornado warning on it. But I don't want to neglect you folks. I just want to let you know the strong thunderstorm, the severe thunderstorm, is still going to be rolling to the south and the east at about 55. And for folks in Sayersville, this one should clip you here in about 45 minutes to an hour. Paintsville, probably closer to an hour, but hopefully it will continue this weakening trend. It's not looking nearly as organized as it was earlier, Brandon Orr.
No, that one has weakened off, at least in terms of rotation, but we're still seeing some quarter-size hail possible and also some wind gust to 60 miles per hour. This is getting ready to push into Morgan County. It's already pushing into Morgan County, but getting ready to push in towards West Liberty. So if you're in downtown West Liberty right now, you're probably hearing a lot of thunder and lightning and seeing a lot of lightning as this storm continues to push on in towards downtown here shortly. Again, that's pushing it over towards Johnson County and near Paintsville and just to the north of Salyersville over the next hour or so. But again, we still have another tornado warning, or this is the only tornado warning, I should say, that we have in effect in eastern Kentucky, at least for right now. And this one goes out towards, and I'll put it on your screen so you can actually see it, Clay, Jackson, and Laurel County for the next about 40 minutes or so. And Shane, I'm looking at some of the rotation on Pinpoint Doppler behind the scenes, and I'm still seeing some strong rotation. So this is going to move to the south and east, and it's going to move into Manchester. So if you're anywhere in Clay County, it's best to be in a safe place, interior room or closet, because it's going to move in towards Manchester here in the next hour.
Yeah, that's right, Brandon. And Brandon, while we talk about this cell, go ahead and bring up velocity on the backup computer, and we'll take a look at that in a second. But right now, this is the area of concern northwest of Manchester, south of Anvil. And once again, this area right here, see where there's that little bit of a notch there northwest of Manchester, where there's almost a little like dimple in the radar signature? That's the area of rotation we're concerned with. And once again, no confirmed reports of a tornado yet, but this is a Doppler estimated signature. This is not a guarantee, but folks, it's a strong enough signature that we're going to urge you to take shelter into southern portions of Jackson County, northern Laurel County, and into western Clay County. London, you're in the clear. This storm should not impact you. It should pass you off to the east. If you're going to be traveling on the Hal Rogers or Highway 80 between London and Manchester, here in the next 45 minutes or so, I may try to delay that a bit. Wait for this storm to pass. I'm guessing it's going to be into Manchester within about 45 minutes or so, and you do not want to be driving into a hail-producing thunderstorm. So if you can make the trip now, do it and get in place, or if you can just put it off, wait about an hour, hour and a half, let it pass. I'd say that'd be the safer course of action, as this is a pretty potent thunderstorm getting ready to exit Jackson County and move on in towards Clay County. And man, that is some serious rotation showing up, Brandon. Do we have that ready to pull up behind me?
We're actually having a little bit of trouble pulling that up, but we do have some tornado safety tips, because if you're in Clay County, this is what you need to be doing in Clay County right now, right around Manchester, is taking shelter in a basement or on the lowest floor away from windows, putting as much space between you and the outside walls under sturdy furniture or in a bathtub is best. Abandoned cars, so if you know anyone that's traveling through Manchester, because this is going to cross the Hal Rogers right around Manchester, like you're going out towards London. So between London and Manchester over the next hour or so. So you do not want to be out on the Hal Rogers as this storm is moving through.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Brandon. We'll go back to regular pinpoint Doppler, see if we can get that velocity data pulled up here in a little bit. But you can see, once again, a little bit of a notch in the radar signature. We're getting our newest data in right now. That newest sweep just coming in, still seeing that, still seeing the hail signature. So folks in western Clay County, northeastern Laurel County, southern Jackson County. Now, if you're back up towards McKee, you're in the clear. You can come out of your safe places. Livingston, Mount Vernon, you all are in the clear at this point right now. Our main concern is Anvil and places to the southeast right there towards Manchester. Once again, that storm system going to continue to work its way off to the south and the east. There along Highway 30, that's another one I wouldn't be traveling here in the next little bit. Also, 421, that one may also be a highway I try to avoid, especially there between Manchester and Jackson County. That's just that southeastern portion of Jackson County is a hotbed right now, folks, and you want to avoid it if you're going to be traveling anytime in the next little bit as we continue this tornado warning up until the top of the hour. It's 5:23. You're watching WYMT TV. I'm Chief Meteorologist Shane Smith here alongside meteorologist Brandon Orr as we are tracking second day in a row of severe weather, second day in a row of tornado warnings here in eastern Kentucky. And once again, just some fall thunderstorms. You know, we occasionally have severe weather in the fall here in eastern Kentucky. It's usually not as dynamic as our spring severe weather season, but it can show some strong storms, damaging winds, and the hail can especially be bad this time of year because we got so much colder air coming in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Also, don't want to forget our friends back up to the north and the east. We got a severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Morgan County. That also goes into Magoffin County, down towards Johnson County, and even clips the northern end of Floyd County. And there you can see Johnson, Magoffin, Menifee, Morgan, and Rowan. Although Rowan County, you're in the clear at this point. If you're up at Moorhead watching, you're A-OK. Storms have passed. You should be good to go. But some strong wind about to move into downtown West Liberty. In fact, some of the radar signatures I'm looking at here on my iPad showing gusts getting close to 60 to 70 miles per hour, Brandon Orr.
That's exactly right. As this storm continues to push through portions of Morgan County, producing some hail up to a quarter size in some locations, as well as some wind gusts to around 60 miles per hour. And there's also another severe thunderstorm warning. This is on the northern fringe of our area, but if you're up towards Louisa and you're watching us, there is a severe thunderstorm warning for northern Lawrence County as well. And we'll try and get that on your screen so you can actually see the time it expires, right around 5:45. It expires up towards northern Lawrence County. But our main concern is down to the south, out towards I-75 in the Cumberland River Valley. That's where we still have a storm that is showing some healthy rotation as it pushes right towards Annville. And that's down in the southern half of Jackson County. That's where the rotation is right now, right around Annville, and that's pushing to the southeast. It'll be in Clay County within the next 5 minutes, and it's going to continue to push towards Manchester, crossing over the Hal Rogers between Manchester and London, and that continues to push to the south and east. And I'm checking, and we still do not have a report of an actual tornado out of this, but there is strong enough rotation on Doppler radar that a tornado or a funnel cloud could develop at any time, Shane.
Yeah, that's right, Brandon. It looks like we got a new severe thunderstorm warning that is just coming out. If you can go ahead and click that data up on the screen, that definitely looks like it's including portions of Clay County, Leslie County, Perry County, getting on over into Knott County. Wow, this has got just a lot of terrain in this one. Breathitt, Clay, Harlan, Jackson, Knott, Laurel, Leslie, Letcher, Owsley, Perry counties. That is a large chunk of our coverage area, all the way up until 6:30. Once again, even without the rotation in this storm, this thunderstorm complex containing gusty winds, we're talking in excess 50, 60 miles per hour, and the potential to produce some small hail. Folks in Hyden, this part of the storm that's moving in on you, not looking super impressive on radar right now. May get a few wind gusts, a little bit of small hail. Same story from Hazard to Hyman, right there along Highway 80. Our main concern, though, is the western edge of this storm. Back now entering Clay County, exiting Jackson County, we are seeing just quite a bit of rotation, and that hail signature really starting to blow up there a little bit as it enters Clay County. That could easily produce quarter-size hail, maybe even a little bit larger than that. We're seeing, I would say about quarter-size hail is a good bet right now, just given that radar signature. Also, just a lot of lightning with this thunderstorm as it is exiting Jackson County. Folks in Annville, you're probably saying, Shane, when is this thing going to end? It is just pounding us right now. Give it about another 5 minutes. The worst will be through Annville. Folks over into, once again, over into Clay County, western Clay County, and southern Jackson County. That is my area of concern right now. Folks in Laurel County, it looks like this thing is going to end up missing Laurel County, at least a majority of it. If you're in the eastern tip of Laurel County, north of the Hal Rogers. I'd go ahead and stay in your safety shelter for a little bit longer, but right now my main concern, northwestern Clay County, northwest of Manchester, and areas of Jackson County east and south of Anvil and south of McKee. That's where the bulk of this storm is right now, Brandon Orr.
That's right, and we also have an update on some of the thunderstorms that rolled through eastern Kentucky earlier on this morning. If you were watching Brandon Robinson during Mountain News at 5 o'clock this morning, you noticed there was some very strong thunderstorms rolling through the Cumberland River Valley right around Pulaski County. And the National Weather Service is just now confirming an EF1 tornado occurred in Pulaski County. This is near the 1100 block of Rush Branch Road in Somerset. The damage to around a dozen homes in the area, with some trees and branches blown down on houses, as well as a large carport was detached and fell on a car, and also some power poles were snapped. So they went out there and did a storm survey during the day today, and they found an EF1 tornado out there. We'll have a lot more on that coming up on Mountain News, but we still have tornado warnings in the area, so we're going to go back.
We'll worry about the ones ongoing, then we'll talk about yesterday's. But
Right.
that was also, if I'm not mistaken, Brandon, that was that same cell that produced that pretty dramatic video from down around Wolf Creek Dam yesterday, where that funnel cloud was caught on video. I know that we had seen quite a bit of. But once again, folks, we are continuing to monitor a tornado warning for portions of Clay, Jackson, and the eastern tip of Laurel County. That's going to go until 6 o'clock tonight. I'm just looking through the National Weather Service reports right now. Jackson County, over in the Grayhawk community, penny-size hail reported. That's about the only one we've seen right now. Bath County, back up to our northwest, did have some reports of some trees blown down. That was that storm that had the warning up in Rowan County, and also Bath County near Owingsville. Another tree reported down on a house there, so some damage off to our north. But our main concern right now, this very strong thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado northwest of Manchester. Once again, tornado warning until 6 o'clock, excuse me, for Clay County and the southern tip of Jackson County and the eastern tip of Laurel County. It's this area right to the north of Manchester, right along 421, that has me concerned. Notice how we have this notch in the radar signature. That's a good sign of a rotation. Also, the pink showing up, that's a good sign of hail. That is a very healthy supercell thunderstorm. Not a classic supercell thunderstorm, but a supercell nonetheless, and one that can produce damaging winds and could produce a tornado as it continues work off to the south and the east at 55 miles per hour. So you folks in northern Clay County, need you to be in your storm shelters now. Southern Jackson County, hang in there for about another 5 to 10 minutes. Now, your storm shelter, lowest level of your home, inside a basement or a closet or a bathroom without windows. You want to cover your head, and you want to put as much room between you and the outside world as possible. You want to put as many walls between you and the outside world as possible. So this is a very potent thunderstorm as it continues to work its way off to the south and the east. And Brandon, if we can we get a close-up scan on the backup computer of that velocity signature as it is moving into northern Clay County? Give him a second to get that set up, and we will go ahead and take a look at that. And once again, this is a potent-looking signature, not as strong as it was earlier, but south of Burning Springs, north of portions of Manchester, Sightdale. That is a, excuse me, that's a very broad area of rotation. It's enough that it makes me concerned that there's at least the potential of something going on here, folks. At least maybe a quick spin up, some strong winds. Once again, the red going towards the radars up in Jackson, green going away. And it's just, there's a bit of rotation there where those greens and reds come together. And that's what's causing the Weather Service to continue this tornado warning for about another 30 minutes for portions of Clay County. But I'm telling you this right now, Brandon Orr, that storm is moving out of the warning box pretty quick. And they're going to have to expand that thing in a hurry if they're going to keep up with the storm, as it is really booking it off to the east.
That's right, and this is why we're concentrating on this storm, because this one has the most rotation with it. This is the only tornado warning that we have issued for eastern Kentucky right now. The other one that was previously in effect up towards Moorhead and Rowan County, up towards Menifee, that has since been downgraded to a severe thunderstorm warning, just getting some reports of some penny-sized hail, as well as some 60-mile-per-hour winds in some of those. But Burning Springs, if you're in Burning Springs, your rotation is right over you right now. This is moving down towards Seidel, down towards Manchester. This is going straight down 421 that goes north to south right into downtown Manchester, right over where the overpass is, where the Hal Rogers crosses over. And this is actually going to cross the Hal Rogers right over downtown Manchester. So if you're in Manchester right now, you want to be in your safe place, in an interior room or closet. No reports of funnel clouds or tornadoes, at least for right now. I just got another check with the National Weather Service. They haven't seen anything. But if you do see anything, you'll want to go ahead and send it to us. You can post on our Facebook page. We are constantly on Facebook interacting with our viewers and answering questions, so you can always keep up with us there and help us tell the weather story with what's going on out there in central Clay County right now, Shane.
Yeah, that's right, Brandon. And once again, these storms continuing to be pretty potent. Let's switch back over to our primary pinpoint Doppler radar, the traditional view of that. And you can see that once again, it looks like Manchester, we're going to be cutting it close on this thing, friends. It's going to be skirting by the north side of town. So if you live north of Manchester, I'd go ahead and be in your tornado safe spot. Once again, this tornado warning, the storm is about to move out of the warning polygon. So we're just going to have to wait and see what the Weather Service does with that. But as far as how it's looking on the radar, still seeing some broad rotation in it. Still seeing gusty winds, potentially 60, 70 miles per hour. So even if this storm isn't producing a tornado, still strong, still severe, and it is weakening a bit, and also seeing a little bit of a hail signature to the north of that. But once again, that is weakening as well, and not as much lightning in it as earlier. So this storm may be going through another one of those weakening phases. This is also moving into an area, Brandon, that saw quite a bit of rain earlier in the day. It was cloudy through the first half of the day. We didn't clear out till just after lunchtime, so this may be a little bit more of a stable atmosphere this line is moving into.
That's exactly right. And we don't want to forget off towards the north. We're getting some questions on social media about some of the storms that have been pushing through the Big Sandy, getting some reports of some strong wind gusts up there. And there is a severe thunderstorm warning still out for parts of this area. And we'll zoom out on pinpoint Doppler so you can actually see where that warning is located. It's just off towards the north of Salyersville. This is the same storm that just pushed through West Liberty and central Morgan County not too long ago. We have an update on the warning that was just sent out. It continues for northwestern Floyd, south central Elliott County, eastern Morgan, north central Magoffin, and all of Johnson counties until around 6:15. It was located right around Lick Branch right now, moving east at around 50 miles per hour with some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, as well as some penny-sized hail. So again, that's pushing to the east over towards Johnson County within the next hour or so with some pretty strong wind gusts. But the main concern is down towards the Cumberland River Valley, just to the east of I-75 now, passing through central Clay County with that tornado warning. Still some rotation showing up. We don't have another warning that was issued right now, the tornado warning that was previously in effect for portions of northwestern Clay County. That's the only area within this area of rotation as this storm pushes down to the south and east at around 50 miles per hour. So it expires at around 6 o'clock, Shane, but as it's still showing some pretty good rotation, so I would expect a new warning to be issued for the remainder of Clay County, including downtown Manchester here shortly. We'll definitely know, we'll let you know about it as soon as it gets issued.
Yeah, that's one thing we're waiting on to hear from our friends at the Weather Service, what they're going to do, because you can see, folks, there's the tornado warning box, the one in the red. You can see the watch box, how it dissects the northern half of Clay County, but it's this warning right here. And right now, the storm's moving out of that warning area. So we do have that severe thunderstorm warning right now for the rest of Clay County, Leslie County, southern end of Breathitt County, over into Lee County, or excuse me, Owsley County. Go ahead and seek shelter here, folks. This storm still quite potent, still severe, still producing some gusty winds. Although at least the worst of that storm seems to be weakening some, but there's still a little bit of rotation north of Manchester. And don't want us to let our guard down just yet. However, this storm is working into an atmosphere that was worked over earlier by the heavy rain we had, the clouds. I know I slept in a little bit this morning because of the rain. It was very, very nice sleeping weather. But those storms continue to work off to the south and the east. And as Brandon said, we also have that severe thunderstorm warning up for some of our big sandy counties, northwestern Floyd, south central Elliott, eastern Morgan, north central Magoffin, and Johnson County until 6:15. Also, don't want to forget our friends here in Perry County, Leslie County. We got the severe thunderstorm warning. It's for portions of western Harlan, Clay, Perry, southern Owsley, western Letcher, Leslie, and southwestern Knott counties until 6:30. Once again, Doppler radar indicating the potential for wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour, as well as quarter-size hail. Some of the communities in the path of this storm coming up at 5:40, just a few minutes from now. Seth and Hensley, then moving down towards Size Rock and Jacks Creek around 5:45, Thousand Steaks and Calliope around 5:50. Now, for you folks that travel the Hal Rogers Parkway a lot, that's where the old volunteer fire department is, friends over there in Leslie County. And then Wooten about 6 o'clock, and Frew and Daly around 6:05. So once again, this storm going to work through Clay County and Leslie County, and then eventually over into Perry County. We're hearing the roof having a little rain on it here at the Hazard Studio of WYMT. And once again, that part of the storm not as strong, and the cell overall appears to be weakening as it works its way off to the south and the east. That's some good news. Once again, just waiting to see what the Weather Service is going to do with this tornado warning. I'm a little bit confused as to why they haven't either ended it or extended it, because it's now out of the warning polygon. Brandon, are we seeing anything from them just yet?
I'm checking and I see a continuation of the severe thunderstorm warning that goes into effect for Clay, Harlan, Knott, Leslie, Letcher, Owsley, and Perry counties. That goes until 6:30. For this cluster of thunderstorms, I continue to push off towards the south and east, but as of right now, I don't have a continuation of that tornado warning through central Clay County. But Shane, I'm still looking at pinpoint Doppler. I'm seeing some rotation on there. So if you're in central Clay, or really anywhere in Clay County around Manchester, you want to be in your safe place and into your room or closet, because a tornado or a funnel cloud could form at any time.
Yeah, that's right, Brandon. And we're going to continue to keep an eye on this cell. And as long as that tornado warning is active, until they decide to do something with it, we are going to stay on. And of course, we will have a complete wrap up coming up here at 6 o'clock, as we will be on the air for Mountain News at 6, weather permitting. And once again, the last update we just got from the Weather Service continuing that tornado warning and issuing now, it looks like a new tornado warning for portions of Clay, Harlan, Leslie, and Perry counties until 6:15. So this one just now coming down. It's not even into our system yet, but I'm seeing this from the National Weather Service. Once again, tornado warning now out for Clay, Harlan, Leslie, and Perry counties, and until 6:15. So as soon as we get this loaded into the system, we will show it to you folks. But it's going to be pretty much this area southeast of the current warning, right on top of Manchester, going on down the Hal Rogers Parkway, on through Hyden, on over into eastern Perry County. Yeah, right there along that line. Brandon's pretty much drawing that box in for us until we can get it pulled into our system. A lot of data coming in right now, folks, so just bear with us as we wait for that to load. And this literally just came down. But this area here in the white box is roughly where that new tornado warning that goes until 6:15 is. Once again, Doppler indicated tornado. We have not seen any confirmed reports of rotation or funnel clouds, but we are seeing a very strong signature on the radar. Once again, this is straight from the Weather Service. This storm will be near Wildcat and Hensley at 5:45, Peabody and Hector around 5:50, Big Creek and Bear Branch around 5:55, Creekville at around 6, Hosea and Essie around 6:05, and Stinnett around 6:10. So this is going to pretty much work from Clay County on into Leslie County, into Perry County. Hazard, we're going to be cutting it close on this one, my friends. So if you're right now pretty much anywhere near the Hal Rogers Parkway or Highway 80 to the south, you need to be seeking shelter now through portions of Clay County, Leslie County, Perry County, and the western end of Harlan County. I would say pretty much west of Everett, over into Harlan, right over to the county line towards Bell County. You folks probably want to go ahead and seek shelter, as this entire thunderstorm complex is working off to the east and southeast at around 45 miles per hour. This cell is now merging with the entire line. So that can be a good thing. That can tend to suck some of the energy out of this thunderstorm, Brandon.
And you can hear some of the rainfall, and actually we are looking at lightning that has been going for like crazy on our weather camera. This is right outside of our studios looking over downtown Hazard. And you can see the power is actually on, but we're taking a lot of lightning flashes out there with these storms. That's the other threat that we're seeing, in addition to some of the small hail and some of the very strong wind gusts to 60 miles per hour, is frequent cloud to ground lightning. But again, that rotation still continues as it moves through the northern half of Clay County. This is passing right over the Hal Rogers near Manchester, and this will push into Leslie County. So now if you're in Leslie County, right around Hyden, downtown Hyden is in the path of this area of rotation that could produce a funnel cloud or a tornado at any time. So you'll want to be in an interior room or closet away from windows in the basement is best.
Yeah, definitely, Brandon. And we are continuing to monitor this storm. Just got a report from our friend of the station, Chris Hall, down in Jamestown Village of pea-size hail. So Brandon, if you want to pass that along to the Weather Service, viewer report of pea-size hail in Jamestown Village. So once again, that is a very strong signature. You can just see the rain pouring down with this tornado-warned thunderstorm for portions of Perry County into Clay County, Leslie County, and the northern end of Harlan County. Once again, waiting for our system to catch up with that and start displaying that warning. But once again, for you folks into portions of Clay County, Leslie County, and on into Perry County and northern Harlan County, we are seeing a tornado warning, and that is going to continue all the way out for about another 45 minutes, all the way out until 6:30. So we're going to stay with this storm as long as it has that tornado warning. Once again, having just a little bit of trouble getting that warning to show up in our system. Brandon, let's go ahead and switch over to the backup computer. Maybe throw on the velocity data. We'll look at that while you work on the primary. Just give us just a second in the back to get all that set up, and then we'll take that. But once again, folks, we have a new tornado warning. This goes for portions of Clay County, Leslie County, Perry County until 6:15. This also clips the northern end of Harlan County, pretty much just north of Everett's, not quite to Cumberland or Lynch. But you folks in northern Harlan County, north of Everett's and north of Harlan, need to go ahead and seek shelter. Clay County, for places east of Manchester, you need to seek shelter. For Leslie County, this is pretty much going to be all of Leslie County. And for Perry County, places south of the Hal Rogers Parkway and Highway 80, you need to seek shelter, as we are seeing just quite a line of thunderstorms. Our main area of concern in the western portion of this line is you see where the radar kind of curls back in on itself. That is a indicator of at least some rotation, although it is not as stout looking as it was earlier. But we are seeing some gusty winds. We're hearing heavy rain here in the WYMT studio right now with lots of lightning. You can actually see right on top of Hazard, just it's pouring. Let's actually take the weather cam once again, just take a look at how heavy that rain is falling. And you can see it is pouring down, hearing a little bit of thunder now. Traffic looks like it is going slow there up Black Gold Boulevard and down on 80. You can see a little bit of lightning there. This is a very, very strong October thunderstorm. You know, folks, it's not often we talk about severe weather in October, but it's not completely unheard of either, as we can see those strong collision of the air masses in fall causing those thunderstorms. Brandon, do you have the 3D Doppler radar set up for us on the backup system? Let's go ahead and take that. And you can see this is a very, very tall thunderstorm. Not as tall as ones we see in the spring. They're not that tall, but they're tall enough to cause some problems. And you can see here's the core of that storm over into the eastern end of Clay County, now northeast of Manchester. You can see there's 421 right there. And notice how that thunderstorm top is shooting up. Got a lot of the red showing up on the radar. That is a taller thunderstorm. That is a strong thunderstorm, probably some hail in that. The lightning, very intense in that storm, and also this torrential rain we're hearing on the roof here at the WYMT studio. And this entire complex of storms rolling to the east and southeast at about 45 miles per hour. So once again, in Clay County, Leslie County, and Perry County right now, Perry County area south of the Howell Rogers Parkway. I need you to go ahead and seek your tornado safety shelters. Be in the lowest level of your home. You want to get out of a mobile home or trailer park. You want to go into something sturdier. Or if you're traveling, you don't want to get caught in a car in a tornado. It's not a good thing, folks. So lowest level of your home, a closet, a bathroom, that's your best options. If you don't have one of those, just a room in the center of the house away from windows, maybe under the stairwell. That's not a bad place to go. But you just want to be in the center of the house, many walls as possible between you and the outside world, and you want to protect your head. Most tornado-related injuries are caused by flying debris hitting someone and causing trauma. So you want to protect your head in these storms, as the worst of this is now to the east and northeast of Manchester, tracking down towards Hayden. Here's some of the communities once again in the path of this storm. By 5:50, this storm is going to be rolling up on Peabody and Hector. Big Creek and Bear Branch, you're coming up at around 5:55. For our friends down in Creekville, you're around 6 o'clock. Hosea, 6:05. Stinnett and Hoskinston, around 6:10. So this entire complex of storms is working off to the south and the east. We continue this tornado warning for another 41 minutes. Once again, that's going to take us back into the next little bit. You can see 6:15 now have that tornado warning ingested into our system. Good job there, Brandon Orr, getting that back working. The weather causing a little havoc with the equipment, folks. Sometimes it happens, but hey, we just roll with the punches and keep on going because we want to keep you safe. And I don't want to forget our friends up in the Big Sandy. I know you're saying this up in Syersville. Shane, we've got a doozy of a storm off to our northeast, back over towards Paintsville. It's a potent storm, but it's not the most potent storm we have. It's only a severe thunderstorm warning about to move into Paintsville. A little bit of lightning, some gusty winds. Syersville, this one's going to miss you. It looks like the worst of it is, at least. May get some brief heavy rain, a little bit of gusty wind. Paintsville, you're going to take it on the chin, but it's not as strong as it was earlier. Also, don't want to forget our friends back up towards Ashland. Off to the north, a little bit of a stronger storm there, working its way over towards Huntington. But the main area of concern we have right now is from pretty much Hazard back to Manchester and points to the south, as we have a tornado warning for portions of Perry County, Clay County, and Leslie County until 6:15. So Brandon Orr, if you don't care to just drop the radar back down on that cell in Perry County, we'll keep going here for a little bit while you get up to speed on what's going on. Just also got a nice picture of what looks like a shelf cloud on my Shane Smith WYMT Facebook page, Brandon. If you want to maybe pull that up, that looks like at least either a shelf cloud or maybe a wall cloud. Just checking out some of these pictures coming into the newsroom. Once again, either post those on mine or Brandon's Facebook pages. The WYMT Facebook page is honestly the best place to post those, or you can send them to Twitter. But folks, I encourage you only do so if you can do it safely. If the storm's bearing down on you, seek shelter, let it pass, and then snap some pictures. No picture is worth endangering your life over. We appreciate them if you can take them safely, but once again, only send us those pictures if you can do so safely. Getting some reports on my Facebook page. Heavy rain in Floyd County right now, just like we're getting here in Perry County. Also, Jesse and Karen Bowling said 1 mile from Leslie County on 421 in Clay. Mostly thunder right now, but the worst of that storm is bearing down. It's getting ready to cross 421 here just in a little bit. So you folks there, just be on the lookout. This thunderstorm packing a punch as it moves off to the south and to the east. And Brandon, do you have that picture pulled up for us?
Yeah, we actually have this one coming out of Flat Lick and Knox Smith, and we have another one of some damage of some tree limbs down on a trailer that's in McGoffin County from Brenda Howard, taking this photo of some tree limbs that are down this afternoon. So this is in northern McGoffin County around Route 1081, it looks like. And this was actually from last night now that we looked through it. She's just sharing this with us so we could share it with you all, some of the damage that was done last night, just like that EF1 tornado that went through earlier on this morning out in Somerset. But you can see as we go back towards our hazard studio camera, the heavy rain that's falling outside. We can hear it on the roof, Shane. There's even some heavy ponding of water out there. I could see it out there on Black Gold Boulevard.
Yeah, it sounds like it is really pouring down out there, especially I can hear it. Sounds like it's right outside Studio B, just coming down in a hurry. So once again, folks, we're going to go back to pinpoint Doppler radar as we continue to track this tornado-warned thunderstorm that goes all the way up until 6:15. If you're just joining us, I'm Chief Meteorologist Shane Smith alongside meteorologist Brandon Orr. A little bit of this fall severe weather outbreak, second day in a row. It's not a typical severe weather outbreak for eastern Kentucky, but it is one that has us concerned with the potential of a little bit of damage. You saw that picture from yesterday up in Magoffin County near Salyersville. These winds can bring down trees, folks, and with as much rain as we're seeing out there right now too, that doesn't make any matters any better, especially too because these trees still have their leaves on them. We haven't lost that we haven't lost that tree leaves to the fall yet, so those trees still a little heavy up towards the tops. But it's this portion of the thunderstorm now northwest of Hyden that has me the most concerned. Folks in Hyden need to be in their tornado safety places as we continue to track this thunderstorm. It is definitely showing a few signs of rotation, although it is not as organized as it was earlier. You can see that dark purple showing up. That is indicating some hail. But man, there are some gusty winds showing up in the velocity data just west of Hyden there, and I'm seeing wind gusts easily in excess of 70 to 80, pretty much right north of the Howell Rogers Parkway, right on the right on the Leslie Clay County line there between Hyden and Manchester. So you folks over near Redbird, that's right on top of that. Be on the lookout. This is a pretty strong storm rolling through that neighborhood. You need to be in the lowest level of your home in a tornado safety shelter, basement, closet. You want to cover your head. You want to stay away from those windows. And this is some strong wind-driven thunderstorm action working its way off to the south and the east. Don't want to forget, also have a severe thunderstorm warning out for portions of the area now included in that tornado warning. But that is for Harlan County, Clay County, southern Perry County, southeastern Owsley, western Letcher, Leslie, and southwestern Knott counties until 6:30. And this line of thunderstorms can continue to cause heavy rain that can easily cause ponding of water on the roads. You can hydroplane real easy in it. The wind can bring down tree limbs, power lines. Haven't seen any reports of any power outages yet, but I'm sure the newsroom is checking on that. And we will find out if we have any reports of that. And Brandon, what are you looking at right now?
Right now we're just still looking at this storm, which we still have not received any reports of any tornadoes or funnel clouds, but we're still seeing strong rotation on radar. So a tornado or a funnel cloud could develop at any time. It's just now pushing out of Clay County. And in fact, Shane, it's right over the Howell Rogers, right between Manchester and Hyden. So this will pass pretty much directly over downtown Hyden, that's in Leslie County. So if you're in Leslie County right now, you'll want to take shelter. It's going to cross over where 421 goes up towards downtown Hyden, and then eventually on over towards Highway 80. And this is continuing to push on down to the southeast and affect far southern portions of Perry County. So if you're in downtown Hazard right now, you've been getting a lot of heavy rain, but the strong rotation associated with this storm will actually push well to the south of Hazard. So we're tracking this storm as it continues to push towards Leslie County. That's the next county in line for this.
And I tell you, the area I'm concerned about most right now is Brandon. That is right on top of the Redbird School. That is an area over there right near the Clay-Leslie County line, where this storm is right on top of. That will continue to push off to the east and the southeast. Hyden, you are under the gun next. I'd say it's 5-10 minutes away at best right now. So if you're not in your shelter, get there now. Still hearing some gusty winds with this storm, some heavy rain. It is not as impressive as it was earlier, but we are still seeing quite a bit of lightning, some hail signatures, and this thunderstorm will continue to work its way off to the south and the east. Remember, folks, with a tornado warning, you want to be in the lowest level of your home. Basement preferable, but a closet or a bathroom will work. The big thing is to put as many walls between you and the outside world as possible. If you can get 4 or 5 walls between you and the outside world, that's perfect. If you can get under sturdy furniture or a bathtub, a workbench, something like that, that helps out a lot. And if you're caught outside, you need to get into a ditch. You need to get into sturdy shelter if you can, but a last resort, a ditch will work. If you're driving into this, you don't need to be driving into it, folks. Cars are not safe versus tornadoes, and a mobile home's not safe either. A mobile home, if not secured correctly, can be tossed around by a 75-mile-per-hour wind gust. So, and we're seeing some strong gusts in these thunderstorms. We're taking a look at the big picture right now, and the radar is looking better. You're saying, well, there's still a lot of red out here, Shane, and there is. But we're now converting that one cell into more of a line, and that has less of a chance of producing at least a tornado, but that does increase the chances of straight line winds a little bit. So it's, you know, half a dozen of one and 6 of the other. It's not good either way, but at least it looks like this cell continues to weaken a little bit as it is working into an area that got worked over earlier in the day pretty hard by some heavy rain, Brandon.
That's right, and we also don't want to forget, because right now in Paintsville, if you're anywhere in Johnson County, especially downtown Paintsville, you're about to get this storm moving on in. This one still has a severe thunderstorm warning out for it for some penny-sized hail, as well as some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, up to 60 miles per hour in downtown Paintsville. Over the next 5 or 10 minutes, this will also continue to move on down towards the south and east into Martin County here within the next hour or two. So we'll see if they extend that severe thunderstorm warning into Martin County. But the strongest storm that we have right now is pushing through. It has now cleared Clay County. So if you're in Clay County, the storm has actually now passed out of that county and is moving in towards Leslie, moving right into Hyden. It's dry in downtown Hyden right now, but some rain and the wind gusts, some very, very strong wind gusts associated with this area of rotation moving into downtown Hyden here within the next 10 to 15 minutes.
All right, thank you very much, Brandon. Greg, if you can hear me in the back, let's go ahead and pull up the 3D Doppler radar, and we'll take a look at this thunderstorm. And here it is moving into Hyden as we speak. And notice how this line of thunderstorms definitely on the taller side, getting that little anvil formation. That's a very strong sign of gusty winds and the potential of hail and heavy rain as it moves on into portions of Leslie County. And once again, folks, if you're in Leslie County, you need to be in your tornado safe places right now. Southern Perry County, pretty much south of the Howell Rogers, you also need to be in your tornado safety places. Let's go back to regular pinpoint Doppler radar, and you will see that the core of this thunderstorm right on top of Hyden. Hyden, I cannot stress enough, if you're anywhere in or near town, you need to be in your tornado safety place right now, as we're going to continue this warning all the way up until the 6:15. Now for you folks just now joining us, it is almost 6 o'clock. You're watching WYMT TV DTV 57. And here in Hazard, Kentucky, I'm Chief Meteorologist Shane Smith. We are doing a long-form severe weather coverage of a tornado warning for portions of Clay, Leslie, and Perry County. Now, you folks in Clay County, the good news, you are now clear out of this. The storm has now moved into Leslie County. So my friends in Clay County, Manchester, go ahead and come out of your safety spots. It's okay. The worst of the storm has passed Clay County. But if you're still in Leslie County or Southern Perry County, and this one may be brushing close to the studio, Brandon, as it looks like this storm trying to move a little bit more to the east with just a little bit of a southerly jog over the last few frames. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, although right now in downtown Hazard, we're seeing just some mainly heavy rain. There's some small hail associated with this here in northern Leslie County as it pushes off towards the south and east. But this looks like it's still on track to go right over downtown Hyden here within the next 15 minutes or so. And I'm looking at a Doppler radar, and I'm still seeing a decent amount of rotation associated with this thunderstorm. So that's why this tornado warning continues, even though, Shane, at least right now, sometimes it takes some time to get our reports from 911 dispatcher from the public posting on our Facebook page. We have not received any reports of funnel clouds or tornadoes. We still have not, but there's enough rotation on radar that one could develop at any time in Leslie County, right around Hyden. And again, that's pushing on off towards the south and east, towards far southern Perry County, right near the Slimp area, Leatherwood. is also included in this tornado warning in far southern Perry County, so you'll want to be in your safe place down there as well. Eventually, this thunderstorm will make it into Letcher County, so if you're in Letcher County, you want to stick with us. You want to get prepared to get in your safe place as well as this storm continues to race on off to the south and east. It's moving pretty quick, Shane, at around 55 to 60 miles per hour.
It really is, Brandon. And once again, folks, we're getting a lot of questions on on our various Facebook pages and Twitter. We asked, had a viewer in Salyersville ask if the worst is past. Yes, Salyersville is in the clear now. We continue to watch mainly down into Hyden, south of Hazard, southern Perry County, southern Leslie County. Those are our main concerns right now as this thunderstorm is just dropping some heavy rain, some gusty winds, still showing rotation. And folks, just keep on sending those pictures. Best place to send those, honestly, is the WYMT Facebook page. We are checking that fairly often. Also, if you can, tweet me or Brandon. I'm at Shane WYMT on Twitter. Brandon, what's your Twitter handle?
Brandon or WYMT.
Brandon or WYMT. So if you got damage reports, tweet us. We'll see those a little bit easier. Once again, folks, just a lot of information coming in. You can always post on the WYMT Facebook page. And we are continuing to watch this line of thunderstorms as it pushes off to the east and southeast. East at 50 miles per hour with a little bit of a southerly jog. Wind over 604, that's here in the next minute. Through down at 610, Banks 626, Flint 633. That's just some of the towns and communities in the path of this storm. This is going to be getting pretty close to Vico too eventually as it works its way off to the south and the east. And also I'd say eventually working its way on down into portions of Harlan and Letcher County if it holds together. Maybe down towards Cumberland, Benham, Lynch, Blackie. Those would be some of the locations that this storm may clip if it continues to work off to the east and southeast at about 50 miles per hour. But once again, we are going to stay with this tornado warning as long as it's out. It goes for about another 12 minutes or so till 6:15. We'll see what happens here with Mountain News in just a second. We're trying to figure that out right now. But as long as this tornado warning is out, we're going to be sticking with it for, once again, my friends in Leslie County, southern Perry County. You folks need to be seeking shelter right now. Need to be in the lowest level of your home, a basement, a closet. Cover your head and put as many walls between you and the outside world as possible. If you can take a picture of damage or a cool cloud formation and you can do so safely, please do so, but only if you can do it safely. Wait till the storm has passed if you have to, and we will continue to watch this. Brandon, if you can, go to the WYMT page. We've got a picture of some quarter-size hail and some nice pictures starting to come in there, and we can take a look at some of those. That sent to us from Chris Hall. You can see that. We are now taking that on screen. You can see that is a quarter-size hail, or maybe even just a little bit bigger than that.
Page and seeing this just like you all are at home, and you could do this yourself on our Facebook page. You can find us at WYMT, and you can actually share your photos with everyone else. It really helps us tell the weather story. This is in Perry County where that severe thunderstorm warning is for a hail up to quarter size, and you can see some of the hail there. It's sent in, like Shane just mentioned, by one of our viewers, Chris Hall, there in Perry County, as this storm continues to dive to the south and east. In addition to some of the hail and the winds, we're looking at that tornado threat moving through Leslie County right now.
Brandon, if you can, I want you to go 2 pictures to the right. There's a picture from Fallon Fugate that I want to bring up, because this is what I like to call a scary looking cloud. It's on the WYMT page. If you want to just switch over to that, we'll pull that up for you here. Let's go to Doppler for a second while he's pulling that up. Greg, you can see that storm continues to work off to the south and the east. We are seeing wind gusts in excess of 60 to 70 miles per hour. But this thunderstorm producing the potential of a tornado in eastern Leslie County, getting ready to move into southern Perry County. And Brandon, do you have that picture? He is pulling that up right now, so as soon as he gets that in the back, go ahead and we'll take that full. This is what I like to call a scary looking cloud. Just give him 1 second on that. We are going to push that up. That is from Fallon Fugate, sent in about 8 minutes ago. That was not the one I'm looking for. Let's just keep on scrolling down. One more under that right there. Let's go ahead and take that full in the back. And what you can see, that looks like a scary looking cloud. You see low hanging clouds, but that is actually nothing to be worried about. That's what we call scud clouds. You want to see more of a rotation to that and more of a mass to that. So that, while it does look kind of scary, is not anything that you actually need to be worried about, as we are continuing to track some very potent thunderstorms there into eastern Leslie County. So we will go ahead and take a pinpoint again, and once again we are getting ready for Mountain News at 6 just as soon as we get this tornado warning over with. It has about another 7 or 8 minutes on it, unless the Weather Service decides to extend it, and then, well, we'll burn that bridge when we get there. But once again, eastern Leslie County, southern Perry County, you folks need to be taking shelter. This storm's still showing signs of rotation. We had some heavy rain, lightning, and a little bit of hail come through Hazard just a little while ago, and we are continuing to watch the potential, at least, of a tornado in eastern Leslie County, getting ready to move into the southern tip of Perry County. And this even looks like it's going to go south of Vico and almost making more of a beeline over towards Letcher County, Brandon.
That's exactly right. It's moving to the southeast. It's over at Hyden right now. And Shane, I'm looking at pinpoint Doppler, still seeing some healthy rotation. You mentioned that a tornado warning actually expires here in just a short time from now at 6:15, and we're going to see if they expand it down to the south and east. And if they do, that would still go out for Leslie County, southern Perry County, and on into Letcher. And my guess is that they will, because we're still seeing some strong rotation on radar as this storm moves from Hyden and down towards Leatherwood and far southern Perry County. If you're in Leatherwood right now, you want to be in your safe place, because this area of rotation could develop a funnel cloud at any time, Shane.
That's right, Brandon. And we got another picture pulled up on the WYMT Facebook page. Let's take a look at this one if we can. This was sent in to us over from...
It looks like Lisa and Bill Ramey. That's out towards Staffordsville,
Kentucky. You can see some dark clouds in the distance there as that thunderstorm was getting ready to move through Staffordsville a little bit earlier. Let's go back to pinpoint Doppler. And you can see that we are continuing to see heavy rain on pinpoint Doppler radar. Thunderstorms continue with the strongest concentration now east and south of Hyden, south of Hazard, although we're still getting some heavier rain here at the WYMT studio. Also still a fair bit of lightning, although not as much as earlier. The storm not as organized as it was earlier, and that's some good news. Once again, tornado warning continues for Perry County and Leslie County until 6:15. Clay County, you have been trimmed out of that warning. As we said earlier, you are A-OK. We also have the warning up in the Big Sandy has been allowed to expire a little early. So our main concern continues to be this cell moving from Leslie County into Perry County. It's just one thunderstorm, but it does have the potential of producing a tornado. And even if it doesn't, it still could produce some gusty winds in excess of 65 to 70 miles per hour. But even the rotation on this storm now looking a little weaker, Brandon.
That's exactly right. But as we mentioned, we'll zoom pinpoint Doppler out because we're getting some questions on Facebook about viewers in other parts of our area, like up towards the Big Sandy. Johnson County has been getting some hefty thunderstorms recently over the past hour or so, especially around Paintsville. And there still is a severe thunderstorm warning. They canceled part of it for the northern half of Johnson County, but for areas around Paintsville, we're still seeing that severe thunderstorm warning for wind gusts to around 60 miles per hour, as well as some quarter-size hail. So that's one severe thunderstorm that we have in the area, but the hefty one, the one that we're actually concerned about because it has a little bit of rotation, is in parts of central Leslie County, right around Hyden. Again, that's moving towards far southern Perry County. If you're in Hazard right now, you're hearing a lot of thunder and you're getting a lot of rainfall. We can hear it on a roof here over our studios, but the main area of rotation is away from Hazard, down towards the south, moving through Leslie County and near Leatherwood, Shane.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Brandon. Once again, we're going to stay with this thunderstorm as long as the tornado warning is active, which should expire unless they decide to expand it here in about 4 minutes or so. We are getting ready for Mountain News at 6. Just as soon as we get this warning over, we will go to that. Steve and Morgan are standing by at the desk. But right now, folks, our main area of concern continues to be just to the south of Hyden. Still seeing some decent rotation on pinpoint Doppler radar near Hyden. And it's this area just south of Hyden where we notice this little notch in the radar reflectivity. That's where we have the potential of a tornado as it works to the south and the east, pretty much right now on the Leslie-Perry line. And that's going to continue to push off to the south and the east. That'll eventually end up near Carr Creek Lake here in about the next 20 minutes or so. And once again, folks, this thunderstorm has a history of producing some lightning, heavy rain, a little bit of small hail. We saw just a little while ago from our friend of the station, Chris Hall, just that picture of a quarter-size hail. So this thunderstorm definitely had some stronger characteristics earlier, but now at least looks like it is weakening a bit. And that's some good news. We definitely want this storm to go ahead and pass on through without too much more fanfare, and hopefully it'll continue to weaken out, and we can get the last of this severe weather on out of here. The second day in a row of severe weather here in eastern Kentucky, and it looks like we have another interesting picture pulled up, Brandon, from the WYMT Facebook page.
Yeah, this was just posted to our Facebook page about 5 minutes ago. This is exactly where the storm is now, near Big Creek over towards Leslie County. As it pushes down to the south and east, you can see some pretty ominous clouds there associated with this thunderstorm that continues to have some weak rotation. Now, Shane, I'm noticing it's weakening a little bit as it pushes into Hyden, downtown Hyden, but it's still producing a little bit of rotation. So we still have that tornado warning that continues for Leslie County as well as far southern Perry County, down south of Vico, down towards Leatherwood. That goes at least for the next couple minutes here up until 6:15, and we're checking with the National Weather Service here in a couple minutes to see if they're going to expand that out a little bit farther to the east. Shane.
Yeah, thank you very much there, Brandon, as we'll continue to check on that. But once again, folks, we're coming up just 2 minutes left on that warning. We'll go back over to pinpoint Doppler now, and the worst of it is to the southeast of Hyden, now south of Hazard. And this thunderstorm line has pretty much just fallen apart a bit, definitely weakened in the last little bit. We're still seeing a few stronger sides of rotation on pinpoint Doppler, but it is not as impressive as it was earlier. And we're just waiting to see what our friends over at the Weather Service office in Jackson decide to do with this thunderstorm. We're coming up on the expiration time. If they continue it, we'll stay with it. If they decide to go to a severe thunderstorm warning, we'll go to Mountain News at 6 and get you caught up on all the day's latest headlines. And I know we had a lot of news today. But this thunderstorm continues to be our main priority, and we're going to stick with this warning here for about another 2 minutes. Once again, I'm just trying to get caught up with what the folks at the Weather Service are saying. Brandon, have they said anything on this storm system just yet?
Well, as of last check, we still do not have any reports of any funnel clouds or tornadoes. We are getting reports of a rotating wall cloud, and what that is a lowering, an abrupt, persistent lowering below the clouds where we have some rotation. That's where a tornado or funnel cloud would develop. That's why we had this tornado warning in effect for far southern Perry County and Leslie County, because there is rotation. We're getting reports of rotation, strong rotation within the clouds. But a tornado or a funnel cloud could develop at any time, but so far we have not seen any reports, Shane.
Yeah, and even without a tornado on the ground, we can still, anytime you get a rotating wall cloud, can still get some damaging wind gusts in excess of 60 to 70 miles per hour. So once again, we are getting ready to come up on 6:15 right now. We are monitoring what's going on with this tornado warning. Right now, looks like the Weather Service office issuing a new severe thunderstorm warning up in the northern portion of the area, Brandon.
That's right. We do have some more thunderstorms developing on off towards the north and west. So what we're getting right now is round one, but we have some more developing off towards the Bluegrass. This is just to the north of Clay City. So this is the latest severe thunderstorm warning that has popped up. This goes for Bath, Elliott, Menifee, Montgomery, Morgan, and Rowan counties. This is the second storm that went through there today, Shane, and that goes until around 7 o'clock this evening for some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts as well as some hail up to quarter size. Now, Moorhead is not included in this severe thunderstorm warning. This storm looks to pass to the south of Moorhead, but it will eventually push into Morgan County and go over West Liberty, which was hit by a strong thunderstorm not too long ago.
All right, and what it looks like they have allowed the tornado warning to expire. So what we're going to do now is take a brief break, and we are going to be back with Mountain News at 6 here in just a little bit. Keep it here with WYMT.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Severe storms move through eastern Kentucky again. Good evening, everyone. I'm Steve Hensley.
And I'm Morgan Lentis. Tornado warnings were issued for several counties in the last couple hours. So far, there are no reports of major damage or injuries. This is our severe weather alert day, and Chief Meteorologist Shane Smith continues our coverage. Shane?
Morgan and Steve, busy afternoon here in the Sky Alert Weather Center going into the evening hours. You can see meteorologist Brandon Orr behind me. We've been working for the last several hours tracking several thunderstorms that have been on the strong to severe side, a few tornado warnings, and right now we are going to continue to track those using pinpoint Doppler radar. The bulk of the action now moving down towards the Kentucky-Virginia state line. Still a severe thunderstorm warning out for portions of Perry County. That goes back into Leslie County, down into Harlan, Letcher County, and into Knott County. That goes until 6:30, so about another 10 minutes left on that. Also, a new severe thunderstorm warning out for Morgan, Rowan, Montgomery, Menifee, Elliott, and Bath counties. That goes until 7 o'clock. And the worst of the storms now getting ready to exit the area. But just as one line moves out, we're getting another line getting ready to move in to portions of eastern Kentucky. You can see that line up near Moorhead. Also, just getting word from the Weather Service, they are allowing that warning for Knott, Leslie, Letcher, and Perry to expire a little bit early. So that is some good news. That line has weakened as it has moved through eastern Kentucky, but still for folks up in Morgan County, we're keeping an eye on this cell just west of Frenchburg back into Menifee County. That is a thunderstorm that has the potential of producing some quarter-size hail and gusty winds and around excess of 60 miles per hour. Now, if you have pictures of storm damage and you can take them safely, go ahead and send those to us at the WYMT Facebook page or tag us on Twitter at WYMT or email us to pics@WYMT.com. But guys, may have to deal with some more storms before all is said and done. Me and Brandon will hold things down here, and we'll have the latest coming up in a few minutes.
Shane, while you guys have been on the air, I've been monitoring social media. I have seen some reports of damage outside the viewing area up in Maysville, one area. I've seen some pictures and video of possible tornadoes out in central Kentucky. But so far, have you seen anything to indicate any tornado touchdowns here in our viewing area or any damage?
Not yet. We've not seen any reports yet, but Steve, as so often can happen here, you know, where eastern Kentucky is a little bit more rural than central Kentucky, we can see it take a little bit for those damage reports to come in. So we'll continue to monitor social media, check in with the local emergency managers, and we'll have more coming up a little bit later on if we have any damage reports.
All right, Shane, thank you. Also worth mentioning, no major power outages so far reported, though we do understand a few dozen people may be without power in.
Continues work off to the south and the east at 45, or at
We told you at the beginning of the newscast about some power outages in Johnson County. We've just learned that there are some more, almost 200 people without power in Leslie County. Shane, this is still from those storms we saw earlier today.
Those storms packed a punch, and a lot of gusty wind, a lot of heavy rain, had some tornado warnings. No confirmed tornadoes here in eastern Kentucky yet, but saw some amazing video out of Paris, Kentucky earlier on our sister station, WKYT's Facebook page. And we will continue to track more storms coming into the region. Right now, though, outside the WYMT studio, it's quiet. Far cry from where we were about an hour ago when the rain was just pouring down and we were seeing just blankets of precipitation. The sky trying to clear out a little bit, and that's not a good thing off to our north. Let's go to pinpoint Doppler radar, and you will see that showers and thunderstorms redeveloping along I-64 south of Moorhead near West Liberty, back extending towards Lexington. And these thunderstorms packing a punch. You can see a severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Morgan County, Menifee County, and the southern end of Rowan County, pretty much south of Moorhead and Lakeside Christian. That goes until 7 o'clock tonight. The bulk of this storm is going to go through West Liberty and places to the north of town as it works off to the east and southeast at about 50 miles per hour. But we saw tons of gorgeous pictures from the storms today sent in to the WYMT Facebook page. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of those on the full screen, and you can see plenty of ominous looking clouds, a little bit of sun peeking through there. That's sent in to us from the Harlan-Letcher County line from Samantha and Scott Hall there at Skyview Bottom. This picture of the storm rolling into Cumberland sent in to us from Barbara Hornsberry. And then you can see firefighters out in the rain there in downtown Hazard. And this picture sent in to us from Hueysville, Samantha Moore, there along Route 480. We're going to take pinpoint Doppler back out to the wide view because we have a tornado watch out for a good majority of the area until 9 o'clock tonight. We will go ahead and put the radar back into 2D mode so you can see that. And anywhere within the red box under a tornado watch until 9 o'clock. Now remember the difference between a watch and a warning. That's all the counties highlighted in red. Watch means we could see a tornado. A warning means a tornado is imminent or Doppler indicated. Now, right now, we've got no warnings, thank goodness, just that watch, and still monitoring that severe thunderstorm warning off to the north. We will go ahead now and take a look at what's going to be happening in the future after we look at the satellite and radar. First of all, you can see we had the clouds and the rain roll through one round this morning. Second round moved through during the afternoon. Future view showing continued thunderstorms through the evening. It looks like about 11 o'clock we're going to have that next line roll through if it's right. I think it may be a little bit earlier than that, just given how the storms moved through earlier as temperatures go down into the 50s behind this storm system. And then tomorrow, we've got a beautiful day on tap. We start out in the low 50s, plenty of sunshine shows up, highs near 70. Going to be a fantastic day, a far cry from what we've had the last 2 days. But for the remainder of the evening, still have some severe weather threats to contend with. A low risk of flooding and tornadoes, but we still could see some gusty winds and maybe a little bit more in the way of hail. And as we look at the 7-day forecast where that weekend is always in view, you're going to see showers return Thursday evening. Another nasty day of weather for football Friday, and those showers continue into Saturday. And I know UK playing at home again this week. Looks like the weather up at Commonwealth going to be a little soggy. You know, we had nice dry weather. It was cold at Commonwealth last Saturday, but this one looks like it may be a soggy one.
Hopefully that will change as we get closer to the weekend. Now again, we haven't had any confirmed tornadoes today in eastern Kentucky, but we had one yesterday actually.
We did have an EF1 confirmed out in Pulaski County near Somerset. National Weather Service office in Jackson confirmed that earlier, and we'll talk a little bit more about that tonight on Mountain News at 11.
All right, Shane, thank you very much, and we'll be monitoring the next round coming in as we go through the night. Update on the storms. We want to correct something we mentioned earlier. Actually, it was not a tornado that hit in Pulaski County, which was actually early this morning and not yesterday. We had another round of storms early this morning. It's just been round after round. But now they're saying it was a microburst. Explain the difference.
Just a strong downdraft of wind that just hits the ground and then spreads out.
It did cause some damage there, though.
And the damage can sometimes appear like a tornado would, because you can sometimes get things going in different directions. You know, normally when you're surveying storm damage, you look for one of two things. You either look for all the damage to be moving in one direction. That's what you get with straight line winds, or then you look for twisting or the scattering, and then that can be tornado damage. But in rare instances, instead of a tornado, it's just a microburst or just a really strong downdraft of wind that just hits the ground and then spreads out. So that's what happened early this morning in Pulaski County. Still tracking a new severe thunderstorm warning just issued, though, off to our north. This up into portions of Morgan County, back into Rowan County. Brandon, go ahead and hit the Q on that. Let's see what other counties. That also includes Bath, Bourbon, Elliott, Menifee, Montgomery, Morgan, and Rowan County. That goes until 7:45 tonight. That's for the cell that's between Mount Sterling and Owingsville, and that's going to continue to work off to the east. That will roll through the southern end of Bath County, or excuse me, eastern Bath County into southern Rowan County. And also just off to the west of that, right on top of Paris, a tornado warning over there in Bourbon County, just to the north of Clark County, between Paris and Winchester. You can see a little bit of rotation showing up on the radar just south of Paris. So folks, we are not done with the severe weather just yet tonight. We have got to pass this line through the region. We've got one severe thunderstorm right now north of West Liberty. We've got the one back towards Owingsville and Mount Sterling, and then the next one, the strongest of the bunch, back south of Paris with that tornado warning. So all those thunderstorms are going to have to work to the east and southeast. And if we broaden out the radar picture even more, there's severe thunderstorms near Frankfort, back over towards Louisville, and the entire area remains under a tornado watch, or at least most of the WYMT coverage area remains under a tornado watch till 9 o'clock. And even for the counties not under the tornado watch, the old saying goes in and around the watch box. So anywhere close to that watch box, I'd say all the way down to the Tennessee state line, needs to stay weather aware for about the next 2 to 3 hours as those thunderstorms continue to progress off to the south and the east, and also noticing a few tornado warnings back into southern Indiana. So we may have another line of storms that try to develop up north of Cincinnati and eventually will push their way off to the south and the east. So it's going to be a long night here in the WYMT Sky Alert Weather Center. But folks, there's plenty of ways you can stay ahead of the storm. You can download the WYMT radar app for your iPhone, Android devices. It works on your iPad. And the great thing about that app too is it will give you warnings based on your location. It knows where you're at as soon as you turn it on and you activate it. So say you have a severe thunderstorm warning issued for your town, it will let you know and act as a little mini weather radio. If you got a weather radio, that's always a great backup to have, always a good thing to have multiple ways to stay ahead of the storm. Myself and Brandon Orr are going to be continuing to keep an eye on things tonight. And Steve, we will break in with any necessary information.
All right, Shane, thank you very much, and thank you for your good work today. You and Brandon Orr have been on the air almost continuously for the last couple of hours, so we appreciate that. And thank you for joining us tonight. Again, we'll break in with weather updates as necessary. Simply the Law is next. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good evening again, friends. Chief Meteorologist Shane Smith here alongside meteorologist Brandon Orr, and we are tracking a new tornado warning out for portions of the WYMT coverage area. Let's not waste any time. Get on over to Pinpoint Doppler Radar. And this tornado warning not yet showing up on our system, but it just came down from the National Weather Service office in Jackson. This tornado warning for portions of Magoffin County, Johnson County, and Morgan County. That is going to go until 7:45, so about 30 minutes from now. Once again, that is southwestern Johnson County, north central Magoffin County, and central Morgan County until 7:45. This storm moving to the southeast at 45 miles per hour, capable of producing a tornado. This storm will be near Orient and Polchark around 7:15, Flat Fork and Emma around 7:20, Leatha and Brownlow around 7:25, Ballot and Will Springs around 7:30, Leander and Patrick around 7:35, and Fitz and Paintsville around 7:40. So for our friends in Paintsville, you got about 25 minutes to seek shelter and get under cover as a very potent thunderstorm is working its way through portions of Magoffin County on towards into Johnson County and also through Morgan County. And this thunderstorm continues to work its way off to the east and southeast. And that tornado warning once again continues until 7:45. We have been tracking several rounds of severe thunderstorms through the last several hours. The storm we are in question is just to the east of West Liberty right now. So we're just going to zoom in on that. That's in the eastern end of Morgan County, northern Magoffin County, and eventually Johnson County. And there is a little bit of rotation showing up near this thunderstorm, and it's going to continue to work its way off to the east and southeast there at 40 miles per hour. We are continuing to monitor this storm. Once again, this is a new tornado warning, even though it is not showing up in our system just yet. As soon as we get that in, we will show it to you. But this thunderstorm capable of producing wind gusts in excess of 70 to 80 miles per hour, as well as inch diameter hail. And we have got just a slew of thunderstorms working in from the north and the east. This is just the leading edge of a line that is going to continue to dip to the south and the east over the next several hours. Brandon Orr.
That's right. Again, it's just passed through West Liberty. So West Liberty, you're in the clear, at least from this thunderstorms, although there's more downstream. So you still want to pay close attention to the weather. But this is moving just to the north of Salyersville and is moving right towards downtown Paintsville. So if you're anywhere in Johnson County, you'll want to prepare for this area of rotation that will push on through. I don't believe we have any reports of a funnel cloud or tornado, at least at this time, but there is enough rotation on radar to actually put out a warning. And we're just getting updates as the radar data actually comes into the Sky Alert Weather Center. And there's still some very, very strong rotation there just to the far southeastern Morgan County, it looks like. As it continues to push off into Johnson County here within the next 15 minutes, Shane. So a tornado or a funnel cloud could develop at any time.
Yeah, that's right, Brandon. Right now what I'm doing, I'm switching the radar over to velocity mode, and we're going to take a closer look at this thunderstorm that's working right on the line between Morgan County and Magoffin County there in the eastern end. And I want to zoom in on this part of the storm right here near Silver Hill and Gray Fox. This is the part of the thunderstorm we are most concerned about. What we're looking at is the velocity data. This is the wind speed and direction that we are seeing from pinpoint Doppler radar. And what we are seeing is wind from moving in the green direction is towards the radar, red away from the radar. So we are getting rotation right there. You can see Brandon highlighting it for me, just to the west of Silver Hill. And this is a pretty strong sign of rotation, especially when you see that brighter green touching against the bright red. That's a tight rotation. So this could drop a tornado very quickly near Silver Hill, Gray Fox, Ever, Mine Fork. If you are near any of those communities, Logville even, you need to go ahead and seek shelter now, right there on the Morgan-Magoffin County line, as this thunderstorm is pushing off to the east at about 40 miles per hour. And once again, folks, this is just the first of another round of thunderstorms getting ready to move into eastern Kentucky. We're going to switch back over to our backup system, take a look at it, and you will see that these thunderstorms are continuing to push their way off to the east and southeast. Tornado watch remains in effect for pretty much most of the WYMT viewing area until 9 o'clock tonight. We've got several thunderstorms. This is the first one. This is the one we're worried about right now. The tornado warning for Magoffin County, northern Magoffin County, eastern Morgan County, and Johnson County. That's going to go until 7:45. Then behind it, we've got more thunderstorms showing up south of Moorhead, back off towards Paris and Lexington. More clusters of thunderstorms, each one showing a little bit of rotation. So we're not done with this just yet, friends. We're going to continue to monitor these thunderstorms over the next several hours, continue to confer with our friends over at the National Weather Service office in Jackson and see what is going on with these thunderstorms. But once again, Weather Service Doppler radar continuing to track that thunderstorm moving east at 40 miles per hour. And you can see that right now our biggest area of concern is there in northern Magoffin County, eastern Morgan County, and western Johnson County. We're just readjusting the radar data real quick, and we'll be back over to our primary source in just a second. But once again, these thunderstorms near Morgan County, Johnson County, and Magoffin County. Now, Salyersville, the worst of this storm, looks like it's going to pass by off to your north, and we will continue to track it. But I want to just remind you folks that you need to be in the lowest level of your home. You want to be in an interior room. You want to be in a safe room. That's a room without windows. That is a closet, a bathroom, preferably a basement if you have one. But I know a lot of folks around here don't have it. We put a bunch of the cities back on here to kind of tell you what we're working with. And see, it's this storm right here. This is the one we're worried about right now. North of Paintsville, north of Sagersville, east of West Liberty. Decent amount of rotation in this thunderstorm. Tornado warning goes for till 7:45. But there's also more tornado warnings and more severe thunderstorm warnings off to our west as another cluster of thunderstorms has developed. And each one of these right now are more cellular in nature than a line. And cellular storms have a better chance of forming tornadoes than storms in a line. So that is something we're going to be keeping a close eye on as this line continues to move to the east and southeast over the next several hours. Remember, if you have damage reports or photos and can share those safely, do so. And we'll see those on the WYMT Facebook page. If we can, let's switch back over to our primary weather computer. We got that warning box now on there. Been having a few issues with that today, but you can see there is that warning box. Western Johnson County, northern Magoffin County, eastern Morgan County until 7:45, which is about another 25 minutes from now. So you have those damage reports and can send them to us safely. Send those to us, WYMT Facebook page, WYMT on Twitter. Also, if you got pictures, pics at WYMT.com via email, but only if you can do so safely. Brandon Orr has been monitoring these storms and taking a close look at the radar. Brandon, what are you seeing right now?
That's right. Just about this entire line, Shane, you were just mentioning just a little bit ago at how large this line of storms actually is. So we'll zoom out pinpoint Doppler and you can see it extends from Johnson County all the way back just to the north of Lexington and all the way back towards Louisville. And all of these storms are pushing down towards the south and east. So they're going to push down through areas or in the vicinity of the Mountain Parkway. Now, well, the reason we're on air right now is because one of them is producing some pretty strong rotation, enough that a funnel cloud or a tornado could develop at any time. And this is moving right towards downtown Paintsville. So if you're in Johnson County right now, especially around the Paintsville area, you want to seek shelter in an interior room or closet away from windows, because there is enough rotation within this storm that's pushing right through central Johnson County that could produce a funnel cloud at any time. And again, we'll pop that warning up so you can actually see when it expires right around 7:45. So we still have a little bit of time to go with that one. But this entire line is actually under a severe thunderstorm warning. Even outside of the area of rotation, we're seeing some wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour and also some hail up to quarter size for Johnson, Magoffin, Martin, and Morgan County. That goes until 8 p.m., Shane.
That's right, Brandon. Right now what we're going to do is switch back over to our other computer source and show you those tornado warning safety tips. Remember, folks, you want to seek shelter in the lowest level of your home, in a basement, away from windows, preferably a closet or a bathroom. If you don't have a basement, those are your best places. And once again, this is for our friends in eastern Morgan County, into western Johnson County and northern Magoffin County. Now, Sayersville, it looks like the worst of this storm is going to go to your north. So go ahead and ride out the shelter in the next 5 to 10 minutes, but I think you're going to be all right. I'm more concerned right now with western Johnson County for any area west of 23 down towards Paintsville. And this tornado warning going to continue all the way up until 15 till 8, so 7:45. And also a new tornado warning now looks like it's coming out for that cell back off to the west of that, north of West Liberty. That's for portions of Morgan County and also including southeastern Bath County, southwestern Elliott County, northeastern Menifee County, and northwestern Morgan County, and south central Rowan County. That's going to go until 7:45. Now that one will miss Moorhead, but south of Moorhead, especially there along old 519 between Moorhead and West Liberty, that is a route that is going to be not safe to drive here about the next 20 to 30 minutes or so, Brandon Orr.
Okay, so Shane, we have a lot going on right now because there's 3 storms that's pushing into our area, especially in the vicinity of the Mountain Parkway. So we have one that's pushing into Johnson County that has some rotation with it that could develop a funnel cloud or a tornado at any time. So that's why we have that tornado warning that the National Weather Service has put out for Johnson County, including Paintsville. Now we have another one that goes back, and this is the latest tornado warning. This goes for southwestern Elliott County, northeastern Menifee, northwestern Morgan, and south central Rowan County until 7:45. There's also some hail associated with that storm. That's this one right here that's moving into northern Morgan County right now. And I'm seeing some very, very impressive rotation with this storm that's pushing through Mount Sterling right now. So this will push into Menifee County, and actually would not be surprised if we have a tornado or a funnel cloud out of this. Now, we don't have any storm reports, but the rotation is pretty strong as it pushes in towards Menifee County. So if you're in Menifee, you should be in a safe place right now because there's very strong rotation noted on pinpoint Doppler as it pushes in towards, like we mentioned, Menifee County, Shane.
Yeah, that's right, Brandon. Let's go back out to the broad view on pinpoint Doppler radar. So 3 tornado warnings, one of them in the heart of our coverage area, one kind of on the fringe back up towards Morgan and Rowan County. But folks in West Liberty and Moorhead, I want you to know we're going to stay with this. We're going to track this. Right now, our main area concern is downtown Paintsville as this thunderstorm is moving in. Let's zoom in the radar onto Paintsville. And folks, this storm is getting close to Paintsville now. I'm saying we're less than 10, 15 minutes away from the core of this thunderstorm moving north of downtown. It looks like just north of downtown Paintsville is going to catch the worst of this. But if you're on the south side of town, I want you to go ahead, get in your tornado safety spot. If you're pretty much in Johnson County right now, you need to be in your tornado safety spot as this thunderstorm is going to eventually work its way off to the east, going into Martin County. Severe thunderstorm warning till 8 o'clock over into Martin County. But we are concerned with the potential of a tornado with this storm. Not looking as impressive as it did earlier on radar, but still, this thunderstorm capable of producing 60, 70 mile per hour winds, maybe a little bit of small hail. Travel going to be inadvisable on US 23 through Johnson County, moving off to the north into Lawrence County here in the next little bit. I'd say give this a little bit to pass, maybe 30 minutes to an hour, because not only do we have this cell to go through, we've still got those 2 or 3 back off to the west that are also producing tornado warnings into southern Rowan County, northern Morgan County, and back over into Menifee County. So 3 distinct thunderstorms, each one with the capability of producing weak, quick spin-up tornadoes, although that one back in Menifee County, just east of Mount Sterling, that is a potent, potent storm right now. I would not want to be on a 460 there between Mount Sterling and Frenchburg heading down to West Liberty, Brandon.
That's right, and all these storms continue to dive on down to the south and east, and like we mentioned, they're moving to the south and east pretty quickly at around 50 miles per hour. So if you get one storm, you're getting several of them because they're all in a line, and the line is moving over itself, almost like train cars over train tracks. So if you're in Martin, Johnson counties up towards Morgan, even though the storms, you may get one, that's not the end of it. There are more storms back just to the north of Lexington that will continue to dive down towards the south and east. Also, want to note some large hail associated with some of this. You can actually see some pink here on pinpoint Doppler just to the east of Mount Sterling. That's just one example of some of these storms that pulse up with some hail every once in a while up to quarter size, as well as some wind gusts to around 60 miles per hour.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Brandon. And we are going to continue to track these storms as long as we have active thunderstorm warnings here in the WYMT coverage area. We will stay with this storm system and continue to bring updates on it. Also, looks like we've got a brand new small stream flood advisory out for portions of the area. That looks like it is going to be for Johnson, Magoffin, Martin, Menifee, Montgomery, and Morgan County. That's going to go up until 11:30 tonight. So some small stream flooding possible in these areas that are going to see several rounds of rain roll through the same area. Brandon mentioned it's almost like train cars over train tracks. Well, the effect we call is training. It's going to be the same storm, just locomotiving over the same area over and over and over. So Paintsville, West Liberty, back up towards Mount Sterling. We've got a couple rounds of rain that's got to move through. So not only do we have the tornado and severe weather threat, we've also got the flooding threat, and that will be on the increase. And that's an area that doesn't need to see flooding. We had just tons and tons of high water problems back into late August, mid to late August, in the Big Sandy, Johnson County, portions of Floyd County, Pike County, Martin County, all seeing flooding back into August. We had that FEMA declaration not too long ago. So once again, folks, this is an area that doesn't need heavy rain, but unfortunately heavy rain's on the way. But our main concern in the short term are these severe thunderstorm warnings through Johnson County into Martin County, the tornado warning into Johnson County. Right now, Magoffin County, Morgan County, you are in the clear from this storm, but be ready to seek shelter again as this next storm comes in. So folks in West Liberty, we've talked about you a couple times already this evening. Be ready to get in those shelters again as this storm comes down from Frenchburg and Mount Sterling to the east. So you folks there in West Liberty, I know it's been a long day. Hang with us a little bit longer. Be ready to seek shelter a couple more times. Let's pass these storms on through with hopefully no problems. But once again, this storm especially to the east of Mount Sterling, north of Frenchburg. That has got just a very impressive radar signature, Brandon.
That's exactly right. Again, these storms are moving to the south and east, as Shane was mentioning. There's a long line that stretches all the way from Johnson County up in the Big Sandy of Kentucky, and that goes all the way back through West Liberty, back towards Frenchburg and Menifee County, Mount Sterling, even farther on off towards the west, just north of Lexington and back towards Louisville as well. So there's a lot more rain to go. So that's going to be another thing that we're actually watching is the heavy rain potential as these thunderstorms continue to move over the same locations. So you'll have to watch out for some flooding potential over the next several hours.
That's exactly right, Brandon. And you can see that storm just back towards Mount Sterling. That kidney bean shape showing up on the radar. That's a concerning feature right there, folks. That is going to be a storm we're going to have to keep a close eye on as that moves a little bit closer to us. Our main concern right now down in Paintsville, we're going to zoom the radar back in, take a closer look at that storm, maybe throw on the velocity data, see if it's still looking as impressive as it was just a little bit earlier. But once again, all these thunderstorms continue to work their way off to the east between 40 and 50 miles per hour. This storm looks like the worst of it's going north of Paintsville, so that's some good news. But some of the other towns in the line of this storm that need to be seeking shelter, Whittensville, White House, back over towards Lomansville, Kerrs, and eventually this will work its way over towards Inez in Martin County. So you folks need to be ready to seek shelter as this storm system continues to work its way off to the east at about 40 miles per hour. The good news is this storm looks like it's about to move on out of the tornado warning polygon. It is weakening, so that is some good news, but we still want you folks there to seek shelter for about the next 8 to 10 minutes or so, as that tornado warning going to go until 7:45. But I've got a sneaking suspicion, Brandon, that one may be canceled just a little bit early.
Yes, I think so too, as these storms are pushing on off towards the east. Now, if we're getting some questions on Facebook, Shane, and I'm going to zoom the radar out to help explain this. There's people down towards Hazard that had storms a little bit earlier, wondering if more are coming your way. Down towards London, Clay County got hit with some strong thunderstorms, was under some tornado warnings a little bit earlier. We're looking mainly dry down in those areas. We're not seeing any rainfall, at least for right now, but you can see that line of storms on up towards, it's basically paralleling I-64 that goes right through Lexington on up near Moorhead and to the south and towards portions of Morgan County, towards Johnson County. That's where that tornado warning is, at least for right now. That's where most of the storms are located. Now, this will continue to move to the south and east, and it's going to propagate southward a lot more as we go throughout the evening hours. So if you're dry right now down towards Hazard, if you're over towards Jackson, Pikeville, you can expect more in the way of storms, and these will likely last as we go into the evening. Unlike typical summertime thunderstorms where all we have to work with is a lot of instability, they typically die on out once we lose the heating of the day. But we're expecting these to still produce some very strong wind gusts and some brief rotation in spots, even as we go into the evening hours. Shane, it's going to take at least until midnight, 1 o'clock to get these storms to die on off and move off into West Virginia and Virginia.
Right, so we've got a very busy night ahead of us, Brandon, and it looks like it's going to show no signs of letting up, because just looking off back to the west, just to the north of Lexington, now tornado warnings out up into portions of central Kentucky. So these thunderstorms mean business all the way back up to our north and west, and we are going to continue to watch them track off to the east over the next several hours. And once again, I'm going to just rearrange the radar data just a little bit here so it's a little easier to see these warnings. And we're just going to kind of go county by county real quick, Brandon, if you'll cue these up for me as I mention them. And we will talk about all the active tornado warnings. Now, this is on the northern fringe of our area, folks. But this is part of our the area that we do cover. So anytime we have a tornado warning here at WYMT, it's our policy to cut in. Lives are on the line, property can be damaged, lives can be damaged, folks can be injured by these storms. So we're going to start off for the tornado warning into portions of Morgan County. That is now moving out of Morgan County. The core of the storm right now in Johnson County. And the worst of it now north of Paintsville, about ready to move into Martin County. Folks in Inez and Martin County, even though this is just a severe thunderstorm warning for you folks, go ahead and treat this like a tornado warning. Go ahead and seek shelter. This storm's it's weakening a bit, but it still could produce some gusty winds. Let this thing pass. let's get it on out of here. This is the weak one. Unfortunately, we got stronger ones off to the west. You can see more tornado warning polygons off to the west. So let's just kind of scoot back, take a look at what the train track is getting ready to bring on down the line. And that is not a fun-looking storm. This was right now just to the north and west of West Liberty, north of Frenchburg. And this storm going to continue to work its way off to the east. West Liberty, once again, this looks like it'll be on your doorstep here in about 30 to 45 minutes. So you folks be ready to take shelter again. Moorhead, you're in the clear right now. Southern end of Rowan County, back over into Elliott County, Sandy Hook. You got a strong storm coming your way. So you folks need to seek shelter and let this storm pass, as there's a tornado warning there for portions of Morgan County and Rowan County and Elliott County. Brandon, what time does that go to? Can we cue that up real quick so I can get the expiration time on this warning in the southern end of Rowan County, the northern end of Morgan County, and the western Elliott County, portions of Bath and Menifee County. That goes until 7:45, so just a few minutes left on that one. But the one to the south of that, that's a new warning that's just come out. That goes until 8:15 for portions of Bath, Menifee, and Morgan County. That does not include West Liberty just yet, but that will pass over West Liberty right after 8:15. So that's about 45 minutes from now or so. So you folks in West Liberty, not done with this just yet. And Brandon, let's just keep on working back the line just a little bit, because there's even stronger storms back towards the Lexington Metro. Now, this isn't in our viewing area just yet, but I want to show you these because this is what's coming down the line. You can see a pretty strong storm to the northeast of Lexington right now. That's going to split the difference between downtown Lexington, Paris, and Winchester, and eventually work its way along Interstate 64. That's a very potent thunderstorm. That's the most potent one we've got on the board right now. And there's more severe thunderstorms back over towards Louisville. So all this rain, this entire stinking line, has got to come through tonight. And folks in West Liberty, down to Paintsville, north of Salyersville, south of Sandy Hook, you seem to be the train tracks where the bulk of this is going to go. That means not only do we have several rounds of severe weather possible, but that is going to really up the ante for the chances of some flooding concerns, Brandon Orr. That's right. We just got a report in now of a funnel cloud in Johnson County. This is right around Paintsville. We were telling you about, actually it's just near Wheelersburg, which is pretty close to Paintsville. We've been telling you, if you're in Johnson County, there's been rotation that could produce a funnel cloud or a tornado at any time. And now we have a report of the fire department there reporting a funnel cloud at around 7:30. So that's just about 8 minutes ago is when they actually spotted that funnel cloud right around downtown Paintsville. And that goes down towards the east, towards southern Martin County here shortly, which is not under a tornado warning right now. We're actually waiting for the National Weather Service to see if they put out a warning that goes into southern Martin County. But if you're from Paintsville and down to the south of Inez, that's where you need to be in your safe place across southern Martin County, Shane. Yeah, as I said just a few minutes ago, you folks in Martin County, even though you're not under a tornado warning, go ahead and treat the severe thunderstorm warning like a tornado warning, especially since we are getting now a confirmed report of a funnel cloud in Johnson County near Wheelersburg. It's 2 miles northeast of Wheelersburg. We can go ahead and take our backup computer just for a second. The velocity data not looking as good. Brandon, what do we got? It's lagging behind a little bit on our velocity data showing the winds. So we'll switch back over to the main computer because you can actually see the area of rotation, Shane. Earlier we were talking about the hook in the storm, the bottom part. That's where the southern end of the storm, that's where we see the most rotation, correct? Yes, that is correct. And you can highlight that area just in the north of Paintsville. I am starting to see that notch now. And we are continuing to track this tornado warned thunderstorm. And there we go, brand new tornado warning for Johnson and Martin County. This is going to go until 8:30 tonight. This thunderstorm this is the one that had the confirmed funnel cloud near the Johnson County and Magoffin County line around 7:30. So apparently we're getting multiple reports of a funnel cloud with this thunderstorm as it moves north of Paintsville and right towards Inez. So folks in Martin County and eastern Johnson County need to be seeking shelter from this storm as we are continuing to see strong rotation in this thunderstorm. And it is, that is a very strong rotation signature there, Brandon. We're seeing just looking behind the scenes. That has got some very stout wind in it, upwards of 80, 90 miles per hour.
That's right, and this is the type of storm where it may produce a funnel cloud and then it goes away, and then there's another funnel cloud and then it goes away. It kind of pulses up and down with the rotation, but there's been a confirmed report of a funnel cloud in Johnson County as this storm is right over Paintsville right now, especially on the north side of downtown, and this is pushing into Martin County. So that tornado warning for Johnson and Martin counties, the latest one goes all the way up until 8:30, and that includes downtown Inez, although the strongest of the rotational passages to the south of town.
Yeah, and right now, anywhere between Paintsville and Inez needs to go ahead and be seeking shelter and letting this storm just pass on by, because we are seeing this very, very strong rotation from this thunderstorm as it continues to work its way off to the east. And folks, once again, we're just getting started again, unfortunately. We are going to be staying with this for quite some time, as we've got several more storms off to the west of this one. This is the main area of concern, but also don't want to forget about our friends over in Morgan County. They have a new severe thunderstorm warning until 8:45. That also includes portions of Johnson County and Magoffin County. Brandon, this line it's a mess as far as warnings go.
That's right. Basically, any thunderstorm right now up and around the Mountain Parkway has a warning on it, either a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning. There's numerous tornado warnings. Those are the red boxes that you can see on your screen on Pinpoint Doppler. The yellow boxes are the severe thunderstorm warnings, all of those, because these storms, all of it, can produce wind gusts to around 60 miles per hour, and also some hail up towards penny size or even quarter size in some of the strongest thunderstorms as they push on off towards the southeast, because the temperatures actually fall below freezing about 8,000, 9,000 feet above us. That's pretty low for this time of year. So that's why we're seeing some of the hail reports. The hail is having normally has a hard time making it down to the ground, but certainly with the lower freezing levels that we're seeing, it surely is making it down to the ground. We have a lot of photos on Facebook. You can always send in your photos to us if you're in Johnson or Martin counties and it's safe to do so. You can send them in to our Facebook page or pics at WYMT.com. And when we get them, we can actually show you some of the reports that are coming out of those counties, like that funnel cloud that was spotted in Johnson County a short time ago.
Yeah, and pretty much any storm along this line needs to be treated as though it's got a tornado warning, and most of them do. But any one of these storms could produce a quick spin up, could also produce gusty winds. Even outside of a tornado, we may see wind gusts in these thunderstorms, 70 miles per hour, not to mention the hail threat, like Brandon mentioned. With the freezing levels so low in the atmosphere, it is really, really easy for that hail to reach the ground. Now, normally it's not super tall and super big hail in that kind of a setup, but in some cases you can get accumulating hail, like we did yesterday on portions of I-75 there. We had that, and that can happen very easily in this type of a setup. We are continuing to monitor the WYMT Facebook page, getting some new pictures in, so let's run through some of these real quick. We are starting off with Linda Hall near Cave Run Lake, and that is a very ominous looking sky. You can see the lightning there in Oil Springs sent in to us from Jade Hayden. The storm clouds moving out of Harlan County earlier this evening. Thankfully, nothing going on down there right now. There's some more pictures from Harlan County. And there you can see that storm in Paintsville. Very ominous looking sky as that storm rolled through and we had that funnel cloud. And once again, if you have any pictures of the storms, any storm damage, be sure to send them to us at the WYMT Facebook page. We are updating that. Brandon Robinson is helping us out with that, and we are also under a severe weather alert day for the rest of the day. Let's go back to the backup radar. And Brandon, what do you have to show us right now?
Well, this is actually where the rainfall, this is taking into account some of the rainfall that we had from yesterday's storms, because as these storms continue to move down towards the south and east, they're dumping quite a bit of heavy rain on some locations. And in fact, they're moving over the same exact area. So if you're up towards Morgan County, Menifee, down towards Martin and Johnson counties, you're not only dealing with the severe thunderstorm threat, but also we're now seeing a developing flood threat over the next couple of hours. Now, no flash flood warnings at least right now, but that's something that we could potentially be seeing over the next couple of hours as these storms are dumping rainfall rates in excess of 1 inch per hour along with some of the hail. Shane?
Yeah, that's right, Brandon. And let's go back to our primary pinpoint Doppler radar and just take a look at all these warnings that are out right now. Just so many of them. We're just going to start going through each one. First off, tornado warning Johnson and Martin County until 8:30. So you folks in Johnson County and especially in the Martin County now need to go ahead and seek your tornado safety place. That is the lowest level of your home, and preferably in a basement or closet. Severe thunderstorm warning for Elliott, Bath, Johnson, Morgan, Menifee, Montgomery counties, and Magoffin County. That goes until 8:45. We have the tornado warning for Bath, Menifee, and Western Morgan County. Now that cuts off right near West Liberty, but I got a feeling that one's going to be extended as that storm is showing quite a bit of rotation as we look at that behind the scenes, and even more rotation on the storm behind that. Just to the northeast of portions of, that is Bourbon County, Clark County, and Fayette County. So that's back over towards Lexington Metro, just northeast of Lexington, between Lexington and Paris. Quite the thunderstorm blowing up there, and even more storms off to the northwest of that. You can see tornado warnings carry all the way back into Franklin, Scott, and Woodford County. That's back up towards Frankfort. So we have right now, it looks like at least 4 active tornado warnings in the state of Kentucky. That is not something you see very often, Brandon, or not around here, and especially not in October.
That's right, but we have several ingredients that came together today. The wind speeds up above the ground are very strong, so that's one thing that's helping fuel these thunderstorms. And we saw a little bit of heating earlier on today, but typically when we have very strong winds up above in the clouds, these storms continue into the evening hours. So Shane, while we're still seeing severe weather now, typically in a summertime weather pattern, the storms tend to dissipate once we lose the heating of the day. You may have heard us say that a lot during severe thunderstorm events, but in this kind of case, they're going to last into the evening. So it's going to take at least until midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning to actually get these storms moving on out. Now, if you're down towards Hazard or even over towards Pikeville, London, Somerset, Pulaski County, down towards Middlesboro, you're mainly dry right now. You're not seeing any thunderstorms whatsoever. This is the main line of these thunderstorms is around the Mountain Parkway, and they're moving to the south and east. So we still could see some more storms develop down towards Hazard and especially over towards Pikeville a little bit later. But that's why we're concentrating so much up towards the Mountain Parkway like Martin and Johnson counties, because that's where we're seeing the thunderstorms produce some funnel clouds like we've had that report a short time ago, or right around 7:30 over towards Johnson County. Shane.
That's right, and I want to clarify something because we're getting a lot of questions about this. We had 2 separate reports of funnel clouds, one near Willersburg, which is near Salyersville. It's northeast of Salyersville in Magoffin County, and then another one near Paintsville in Johnson County. So 2 separate reports. We were just getting the initial report there from the Weather Service, which had Wheelersburg listed, but there was multiple reports of that. So just wanted to clarify that. Had a lot of folks asking, where is Wheelersburg in Johnson County? Well, it's not in Johnson County. It's just across the line over into Magoffin County near Salyersville. But once again, for you folks in Martin County, we are extremely concerned with this thunderstorm right here we are zooming into right now. The worst of it is just to the west of Inez, and it is pushing to the east and southeast. Although the good news is, at least looking at this latest radar scan, not looking as potent as it was earlier, Brandon.
That's right. There's just some brief weak areas of rotation within some of those storms, multiple areas of rotation. So at one point it could develop a funnel cloud and then die on out and then develop another one and die on out. That's the type of thing we're seeing with this storm that's pushing into Martin County right now, around into the south of Inez. And then if we go back just to the west of West Liberty, Shane, and we see this one moving into Frenchburg, that's right in towards central Menifee County. There is some weak rotation with that, but more impressively, there is some indication on radar that we're seeing some pretty large hail out of this system. And this storm is actually moving into West Liberty here probably within the next hour, or really 45 minutes, and it could contain some very large hail as it does so when it moves into downtown West Liberty.
Yeah, that's right, Brandon. One of the radar products I'm going to bring up real quick is the current shear, or the current hail size setting, and it was for this storm north of Frenchburg, like you were talking about. This right now showing $half size hail, and even stronger hail to the northwest of that, golf ball size hail showing up. That is near Owingsville and near Frenchburg.
That's right, and that's been the case with these storms over the past couple of days. Like we talked about this a little bit earlier, how it gets below freezing pretty close to the ground. It's only about 8,000 feet up, it gets below freezing. So the hail that's caught up within these thunderstorms are actually able to make it down towards the ground. So we haven't had any reports of hail covering the ground like we saw yesterday, like out towards I-75 and parts of the bluegrass. You could almost plow the hail accumulation on the road. It was almost like snow. Now we're not getting that report anymore during the storms today, but we are seeing some isolated reports of hail up to quarter size in some of the strongest storms, especially that one that's now moving out of Menifee County here over the next 10-15 minutes and will be pushing into Morgan County near West Liberty here shortly.
And some good news just coming in. The tornado warning for Johnson and Martin County has been allowed to expire. National Weather Service saying that storm is pretty much falling to pieces, which is what we're seeing here as well on pinpoint Doppler radar. And also back off to the west, we are seeing it looks like oh, excuse me about that, folks, having just a little bit of a problem with our radar. You can see that storm, though, just to the west of West Liberty, really intensifying, Brandon.
Yes, and there is some weak rotation within that right around Frenchburg, and that's going to push into Morgan County here shortly. So if you're in Morgan County, it's best to be in your safe place in an interior room or closet, because again, it could produce a funnel cloud at any time. But I'm actually more interested in some of the hail potential with this thunderstorm as it goes into West Liberty, because it's likely producing half-dollar size hail in some locations. That's the kind of indication that you can see there. Shane's pulling it up. This is a different product that we use. We don't show you it too often, but this can actually estimate, pinpoint Doppler, the size of hail within some of these thunderstorms, and it's estimating about half-dollar size hail as it pushes in to Morgan County. So if you see any of these hail, and it's safe to do so, you can take some photos and send it to us on our Facebook page. We've been interacting with viewers. Brandon Robinson is behind the scenes. He's also been interacting with our viewers on social media as well. So you can always send in your pictures that way.
Yeah, that's very, very good point. Also, folks, remember you can stay up with the latest information with the WYMT radar app that's available on Android and iOS devices. Just search that in the respective app stores or the Google Play Store. And that app will alert you when you have a warning issued for your location. It's a great, great tool, great way to stay ahead of the storm. And that's just brought to you by us here at WYMT. Just one more tool to help you stay weather aware. We're going to continue to stay on the air just for at least the next little bit as this storm moves towards West Liberty. Once again, West Liberty, a town impacted oh so hard on March 2nd. The good news is this storm does not look as potent as the storm did just over 2 years ago. But the bad news is this storm does look like it can produce a quarter to half-dollar size hail, and it looks like the worst of it is going to pass either right on top of downtown West Liberty or just to the north, and also friends over towards Sandy Hook. The southern end of Elliott County, I know that's a really rural county, but that is going to do some damage with the kind of pink we're seeing on the radar. Those are very strong hail indicators. Anytime you get purples and pinks on the radar, that's showing just massive precipitation, and usually it's not rain that causes those kind of colors, it is hail, and we are continuing to see those strong indicators of that all the way up into portions of Morgan County, exiting Menifee County, and all the way into Elliott County as well in the southern tip of Rowan County. And we continue to stick with this just because we have that tornado warning out for portions of Morgan County. That still is part of the WYMT coverage area. And as is our policy here at WYMT, if we have a tornado warning in the core of our coverage area, we go on the air and we keep folks ahead of the storm. Now, for you folks down towards London, Somerset, even here or anywhere along the Hal Rogers Parkway or Highway 80, you're saying, well, Shane, there's nothing going on here right now. Well, there's not. But this storm system is working its way to the east-southeast, so we may see this line continue to dip down off to the east and the southeast and may impact some of our southern communities later on tonight. Let's go ahead and take a look at maybe the last hour or two of the radar loop and just show you how the overall progression of these storms has moved from the northwest to the southeast, and you can see they're all following along the same area. And folks, that is a recipe for flooding. Any area that sees that heavy precipitation roll through the same area over and over and over again, you could talk flash flooding, because each one of these thunderstorms has the potential to put down an inch of rain in a half hour, if not a little bit sooner, especially where those pinks are showing up and you get those areas of hail. Just all that added water coming down can really cause some problems. So the good news is the tornado warning over for Martin and Johnson County. Nothing going on in McGoffin County except a severe thunderstorm warning right now. Brandon, how long does that go until?
The severe thunderstorm warning, I'm trying to pull it up here, goes out until, let's see if we can find it, 8 p.m.
8 p.m., so about another 5 minutes on that, although I got a feeling we're probably getting ready to get a whole new slew of warnings coming out, because a lot of these are coming up on their expiration time. Go ahead and queue up, if you don't care, that tornado warning for Morgan County. I believe that goes until 8:15, and it does, so we've got about another 20 minutes on that, and we've still got more thunderstorms off to the north and the west that are going to continue to work to the south and the east. So we're going to continue to monitor these storms. And right now, our main area of concern has shifted from the Big Sandy River Valley back over into portions of closer to north central Kentucky, maybe closer to what you would call the northern end of the Kentucky River Valley, back over towards Moorhead, just south of there, especially West Liberty, as we are seeing a tornado warning continue for portions of McGoffin County, or excuse me, not McGoffin County, that's Morgan County, and that goes until 8:15 along with Menifee and Bath County. Now, new tornado warning, wow, another one coming out. Elliott, Johnson, and Morgan County until 8:45. Brandon, the hits just keep coming.
Yeah, we have several tornado warnings that keeps continuing. Our latest one, like you mentioned, goes for Elliott, Johnson, and Morgan County. That runs until 8:45. And now this is radar indicated of a tornado possibly located near Steele. Now that's not an official report. There's just rotation on radar around Steele. So that's pushing off towards the south and east fairly quickly. And the thing that we're seeing with these thunderstorms are not large, long-track tornadoes, but rather brief, weak spin-ups. We've had some reports of some funnel clouds off in parts of these areas already, and we're seeing more thunderstorms moving over the same exact areas. So if you're off towards Paintsville, over towards Inez, you're getting a little bit of lightning and thunder now. The storms are just on off towards the west. And where Shane just circled that on your radar, that's where we're seeing the most rotation is on the southern end of these storms out towards West Liberty. That's where we're seeing one strong thunderstorm. It has a hook echo on the bottom of it. It's a little appendage there on the southern end of the storm. That's where we're seeing the rotation that's moving in towards West Liberty. So this area has already been under a tornado warning. So if you've been in your safe place a little bit earlier off towards West Liberty, you want to go back into it. Interior room or closet down towards your basement. You can see those areas where Shane is actually circling there on pinpoint Doppler. That's near Old Tate's Creek Pike. That's almost right towards downtown West Liberty is where we're seeing this rotation push on through as they race on down to the south and east. Shane, these storms are really moving, but because they're moving over the same locations over and over, we're seeing the threats for some heavy rain. So a flooding threat could also develop here in the next couple of hours.
Yeah, multifaceted severe weather threat we're facing tonight. We've got the severe weather threat with gusty winds and hail, the tornado threat, and then the threat for flooding, especially in these areas. They're just getting inundated with rain over and over and over again. And unfortunately, just showing no real signs of letting up. Once again, we are staying with these thunderstorms and tornado warnings now. New tornado warnings out for portions of the area. Remember, folks, if you are under a tornado warning or even a severe thunderstorm warning tonight, even these severe thunderstorm warnings need to be treated with respect tonight, just because they could even spin up a quick little spin up before the Doppler has time to catch up. So Lawrence County, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning towards 8:30. Johnson County, Elliott County, Morgan County, tornado warning till 8:45. You folks need to seek shelter. Severe thunderstorm warning until 8:45 for Bath, Elliott, Johnson, McGoffin, Menifee, and Morgan County. The tornado warning continues for portions of Morgan and Menifee County until 8:15. I got a very strong suspicion that tornado warning will be continued. And yes, just so many thunderstorm warnings. And there's also more warnings back off towards the northwest, towards Georgetown, Lexington, and Paris. So we're going to see several more rounds of thunderstorms roll through eastern Kentucky, and especially northeastern portions of our coverage area from West Liberty over to Paintsville, over to Inez to Louisa. That seems to be where the main concentration of thunderstorm action is going to be. And folks, once again, if you have pictures and can safely do so, send them to us at WYMT on Facebook. The WYMT Twitter account is at WYMT. Mail them to us, email pics@wymt.com. Any one of those will work, or you can just tweet us individually to any of our weather staff, and we will just get with those and show you those as soon as we can. But once again, folks, just a lot of warnings ongoing right now. These thunderstorms, each one need to be treated with some respect, because they are all showing very strong wind signs in them, Brandon.
Yeah, so let's go through the 2 tornado warnings that we have out right now, and we'll pop them up on Pinpoint Doppler and zoom on in so you can actually see where these are heading. I know there's a lot of boxes on your screen, so we want to go through and explain what each one actually means. Now, the yellow boxes that you see are severe thunderstorm warnings. So you can see just about every thunderstorm up towards the Mountain Parkway has a severe thunderstorm warning on it for wind gusts to around 60 miles per hour, as well as some hail. So if you're getting a thunderstorm right now in our viewing area, likely it has a severe thunderstorm warning on it. Now we have 2 tornado warnings like we mentioned. This one goes for Elliott, Johnson, and Morgan County. That goes until around 8:45. This will pass just to the north of Paintsville. There is some weak rotation located within that, and it could develop a funnel cloud or tornado at any time. There's another one that's out towards West Liberty, that's right towards central Morgan County. That goes until around 8:15, I should say. So it goes for about another 12 or 13 more minutes as it pushes into West Liberty. And if this rotation continues, they could expand this for the rest of Morgan County, and then this will eventually make it into northern Magoffin County, far northern Magoffin County, over the next hour, Shane.
That's right, Brandon. And once again, folks, these thunderstorms, very potent thunderstorms. So we're going to be sticking around at least for the next 40 minutes or so. We are just past the 8 o'clock hour. You are watching WYMT TV, based out of Hazard, Kentucky. I am Chief Meteorologist Shane Smith alongside meteorologist Brandon Orr. We are doing long-form severe weather coverage as we have 2 tornado warnings currently impacting the northern portion of our coverage area. And this cell northwest of Paintsville, south of Sandy Hook, getting ready to move on towards Lawrence County, into portions of Johnson County, and through the southern end of Elliott County. This is a very, very potent storm. Notice that very strong inflow notch where I'm showing my hand right now, how that green comes in and you get that little hook at the bottom of the radar echo, and then all that pink off to the north of that. That is getting very close to a textbook supercell shape. So the town of Blaine, if you're there, you need to be seeking shelter now. That is probably going to have some strong hail rolling through. The core of the wind of that storm will be passing south of Blaine, but between Blaine and Paintsville, through the northern end of Johnson County, back over to the eastern end of Morgan County, you need to take shelter. West Liberty, you need to be in your shelter now. This storm is on your doorstep. Likely some hail inside this storm. Brandon, can we put the Hail Vision product back on this and just take a look at what our Doppler radar is estimating for hail size? It usually does a pretty good job with this. Just hit the query button and you can see for this storm over south of Sandy Hook, $half size hail, and the one west of West Liberty, egg size hail. So that is, wow, that's some big hail showing up with these thunderstorms getting ready to move off to the east, and quite a bit of rotation in these thunderstorms. You can see that inflow notch there, that little hook, and this thunderstorm continues to work off to the east and the southeast at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. So if you're in southern end of Elliott County, back over into portions of Johnson County, up into Lawrence County, over into Morgan County, into West Liberty, you folks need to be seeking shelter now as this storm continues to push off to the east and southeast. Elliott County, once again, you're under the gun. A very, very potent storm also now in the southern end of Rowan County. No tornado warning with that, but seeing some large hail signature in the southern end of Rowan County. So there between West Liberty and Moorhead, wouldn't want to be on the highway right now, as we are seeing that potential of a very strong thunderstorm rolling through there with some very gusty winds, Brandon Orr.
That's right. And the National Weather Service out of Jackson has issued a new tornado warning. This is on the very far fringe of our viewing area, but it's definitely worth mentioning off towards Menifee County because we do have some viewers out there. They're put this out well ahead of another storm that's moving through Mount Sterling right now with very large hail, up to $50 or larger in some locations. And that's pushing into parts of Menifee County now into Frenchburg. That also has some strong rotation with it. That's why the National Weather Service has put that tornado warning out that goes into Menifee County. And I'll pop the warning up on your screen. So if you're in Menifee County, you know that it will expire at around 8:30. As that continues to push on off towards the southeast. So again, we have multiple tornado warnings with these storms that continue to push into Johnson County and especially Morgan County near West Liberty under the gun right now with some very strong signatures of some hail out towards West Liberty. And remember, if you get some photos out towards that way, because we have a lot of viewers in West Liberty, Shane, you can also post them on our Facebook page and we'll try and get them on air.
Yeah, that's right, Brandon. And once again, folks, only take photos if you can be safe. But folks in West Liberty, if you got a garage, I'd be putting the car in it right now because that is a pretty big hail signature getting ready to move into West Liberty. We are talking hail, I would say at least $50 size from that kind of a signature, not to mention some exceptionally gusty winds and quite a bit of lightning going through there right now. Also seeing just a very, very potent thunderstorm working into from out of Elliott County into the northern end of Johnson County back over towards Lawrence County as those thunderstorms continue to push to the east. You can see that thunderstorm warning for Lawrence County until 8:30. Johnson County, you've got that severe thunderstorm warning until 8:45, and the tornado warning also for Johnson and Morgan County until 8:45. So there's multiple threats with and brand new tornado warning literally just popping up on your screen right now. This one for Johnson, Magoffin, and Morgan County until 9 o'clock tonight. Weather Service Doppler radar indicating the potential of a tornado near Liberty Road and moving east at 50 miles per hour. Here's some of the towns in the path of this storm. Cottle around 8:15, Logville and Haleburg around 8:20, Lacey and Ever around 8:25, Hargis and Niles around 8:30. Barnett's Creek and Staffordsville around 8:35, and Woodland Estates and Preston Estates around 8:40. So a brand new tornado warning. We're going to be staying with this until at least 9 o'clock now, as long as this warning's out. So yeah, if you want to go ahead and seek shelter in any of those counties I just mentioned, once again, Johnson County, Magoffin County, and Morgan County. Now, you folks in Salyersville, you're not included in this warning, and folks in the southern end of Magoffin County, you're okay right now. This is pretty much north of Salyersville. You need to be taking shelter. So if you're in the southern end of Magoffin County, you know Magoffin County, one of those counties is stretched out pretty well vertically. Just go ahead and you're on the safe side for now. But if you are north of Salyersville, go ahead and seek shelter, Brandon Orr.
That's exactly right. And Shane, we'll go through some of these thunderstorms and we'll kind of do a tour around the radar because most of them are up towards parts of the Mountain Parkway. So we'll start with this one that's over towards Martin and Johnson counties. That continues to push on off towards the south and east. You can see the warning box right here. This is just moving into Paintsville. The storm is a little bit farther on off towards the west and it continues to push down towards the south and east. You can see that tornado warning for Johnson, Magoffin, and Morgan. That goes up until, let's see, around 9 o'clock. That's when it expires. So we still have about an hour on that one because this is where the rotation is. Shane just circled it a short time ago. That's where the rotation is on the southern end of the storm system as it dies on off just to the south of east.
And we're seeing almost two areas of rotation there, two little inflow notches, Brandon.
That's right. He circled both of them. You can see these little hook echoes. That's what we call them. It's almost like a fish hook there. That's where we see the area of rotation on those two storms. But there's also some more on off towards the west. And out towards West Liberty, we're seeing not only the chance for some rotation within these thunderstorms, but look at these pinks that you can see here, these very bright pinks just to the north of West Liberty. Now, this is in central Morgan County. So if you're in West Liberty right now, you should be in your safe place because we're seeing some strong rotation on radar radar over West Liberty. In addition to that, we're also seeing some of those bright pinks indicating some hail, likely up to $half size, or in some cases a little bit larger as these push on off towards the south and east. And we just got new information in from the National Weather Service that they have extended the tornado watch that was out for a large portion of our area. They extended that out to around 11 o'clock. So that was set to expire at around 9 o'clock, and they have extended that out towards 11 o'clock as these storms will likely persist on off towards the evening. It's going to take at least until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning to get these storms to push on off towards the east and out of our area. So again, all these storms here all have severe thunderstorm warnings with them around the Mountain Parkway. And if we zoom out a little bit more, because we've been getting a lot of questions in from people who are down towards Pikeville or down towards, we have a lot of viewers in Hazard as well, London, Corbin. We're not seeing much in the way of thunderstorms down there. In fact, it's mainly dry from Hazard on down towards Somerset and Pulaski County, Middlesboro and Bell County, mainly dry. We're not looking at thunderstorms there, at least for the next several hours. But notice just recently we have some pops of thunderstorms on off towards the west near Louisville. All of these storms are going to continue to dive on down to the south and east, and we turned on our radar off towards Louisville, and you can actually see the development of those showers and thunderstorms over the past about 30 minutes or so. So we have a long night to go with these storms going to continue. So if you're out there wondering what it's going to do after you go to bed, we're still going to be tracking some more showers and thunderstorms likely well into the evening. Like we mentioned, it's going to take around 2 o'clock in the morning to get these on and off and out of here. But the main threat of these storms is off towards the Mountain Parkway. And Shane, are we getting any more reports, any hail reports out of some of these? Because like we mentioned, they're pretty strong on radar.
Just seeing a report out of West Liberty, 3 miles west-northwest of town, quarter-size hail. That was from a Weather Service employee that has moved through that area. So quarter-size hail, that is 1-inch diameter hail. We are right now looking at pinpoint Doppler radar, taking a look over the last hour of radar data. And I just want to highlight this train track theory we've been talking about, how the storms are just moving over the same area over and over again. And that is a very strong indicator of not only the threat for several rounds of severe weather, but folks, this could turn into a real flood concern if we don't see those two lines, that entire line of storms, just start to work down to the south and the west over the next little bit. I'm going to just go ahead and step off while we reset that for just a second. But you can see all those thunderstorms working off to the west and working from the west to the east, and that entire line going to continue to just dip on down and cause some problems. And we have got just multiple tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings. Once again, let's just break it down county by county. If you are in a county we mentioned, you need to go ahead and seek shelter. Lowest level of your home, in a basement or closet. And Brandon, let's go ahead and cue them up. Let's start over with this storm moving into Johnson County, through Morgan County and Magoffin County. That tornado warning is going to go until 9 o'clock, that brand new tornado warning. So we're going to be staying with that for the next 45 minutes at least on this storm. We work back off to the north a little bit. Elliott, Johnson, and Morgan County, 8:45 for this portion of the storm. This northern portion of the storm is for this first box, and then the southern box is for the portion of the storm just southeast of West Liberty. It's this area right in here where there's a little bit of rotation. But we just had hail north of West Liberty of 1-inch diameter. That's quarter-size hail just northwest of West Liberty as that storm rolled through. And there's an even stronger hail signature just to the west of Sandy Hook, right there through the southern end of Rowan County, northern end of Morgan County. Folks, that's a beautiful area through there, up there near the lake. But that is an area that could see some very strong hail from these thunderstorms. Brandon putting on our hail product, and you can see for this cell near West Liberty, ping pong ball size hail possible right now. For the northern portion of this storm, the one up into southern Rowan County, $half size hail possible. And folks, we haven't used this product a lot, but the few times we have used it, it's been pretty close to those approximations. So that is just something to keep in mind. Not only do we have the tornado threat, we've got the hail threat, the gusty winds, and the heavy rain. So this thunderstorm complex got multiple problems with it, and it could cause a lot of trouble tonight. So you folks, all the way from Paintsville, north of Salyersville, south of Blaine, back over to West Liberty, up to the southern into Rowan County. I'd say right on the Rowan-Morgan line, back over towards Frenchburg, back over towards Mount Sterling, need to be seeking shelter and continue to stay in those shelters because we've just got round after round of thunderstorms working through eastern Kentucky, and they are not moving. They're moving quickly individually, each cell going about 40 to 50 miles per hour. But the problem is the overall line is not dipping to the south very quick. It is taking its sweet time working its way off to the south. And until we clear that line, the heavy rain threat and the flood threat will only continue to increase and is only going to cause more problems over the next several hours. Now, the good news is that original tornado warning for Morgan County has been allowed to expire, but we still got that one for the eastern portion of the county until 9 o'clock tonight. That's the one that goes through northern Magoffin and most of Johnson County. Johnson County, this double tornado warning whammy right now. Northern part of the county for 8:45, southern part of the county until 9 o'clock. So pretty much everyone in Johnson County needs to be in their shelters right now. And back over towards Menifee County and Frenchburg, you also have a tornado warning getting close to around 8:45, I believe. That's when that ends. And you folks there will also need to seek shelter. And we even look further back off to the west. There's severe thunderstorm warnings all the way west of Frankfort. So thunderstorms continuing to develop off to our west. I know we got a lot of folks down in the southern part of our area, down around my stomping grounds, London, Corbin, all the way over to Hazard, Pikeville, saying, guys, why are you on the air? There's nothing in my neighborhood. Well, there's nothing in your neighborhood, but for our friends off to the north, it is really hammering them hard. And folks, anytime we have a tornado warning in our coverage area, it's WYMT's policy to inform you of what's going on to protect life and property. These are dangerous thunderstorms. They have a history. We had earlier confirmed reports of funnel clouds in Magoffin and Johnson County. So these storms could quickly produce a tornado. These are not going to be long track tornadoes like we saw back on March 2nd. If we see one, it's going to be on the ground probably less than 2 miles, if that, a couple hundred yards, maybe not even on the ground for a minute or so. So quick spin up tornadoes, it's hard for radar to pinpoint those. They'll drop quick, they'll do their thing, they'll go back up, but even outside that, you can still see gusty winds in excess of 70 to 80 miles per hour. Not to mention, we've already seen reports of quarter-size hail from these storms, Brandon Orr.
That's exactly right, and that's just one part of these thunderstorms is the hail and also the threat for some isolated tornadoes out of some of this. We've already heard of some funnel clouds associated with some of these storms a little bit earlier on into the evening. But in addition to that, it's very heavy rainfall. So if you're in Johnson or Martin counties up towards Lawrence, maybe in Morgan County, you've had several rounds of storms already, and there are more storms out towards the west that are going to continue to move over the same areas. And if we zoom out pinpoint Doppler a little bit more, we've been noticing over the past hour or so some more thunderstorms on off towards the west, over towards Louisville. We've been seeing some more developing storms. So if you're down towards Hazard, London, down towards Corbin, maybe Bell County, over towards I-75, Rockcastle County, we've had a little bit of rain earlier on today, but we have more storms on the way that will move in later on this evening. Over about an hour or two from now, we'll start to see some storms develop into the area. But right now, those areas are dry. The main area of concern is up towards the Mountain Parkway. That's where we have those tornado warnings, Shane.
That's right. Thank you very much, Brandon Orr. Once again, let's break down those warnings county by county, time by time. We've got the tornado watch that's been extended out till 11 o'clock for a vast majority of our coverage area. And even if you're not under that watch, you need to at least stay weather aware tonight, folks, because remember, tornado watch means areas in and around the watch box may see tornadoes. And that's this the big red box we've got to deal with. You can see it goes all the way down towards Somerset, London, through Hazard, Pikeville. But even just to the south of that, you folks need to be on the lookout for that. We had some strong wind earlier down in Harlan and Letcher County, even though you folks aren't in that tornado watch box. So that goes till 11. Remember, a watch means thunderstorms that could produce tornadoes are possible. The main area of concern are these tornado warnings, the little bright red boxes, and it's hard to see with all the radar data. Let's zoom in a little bit closer on them. These mean that we are either seeing reports of funnel clouds, reports of a confirmed tornado, or a lot of rotation on Doppler radar. Now, we did have some earlier confirmed reports of funnel clouds, not only in our area, but also back into central Kentucky. Well, right now we are seeing more Doppler indicated because it's hard to see at night. You know, you just can't see those funnel clouds unless they're illuminated by the lightning. But if they're that close, you don't want to be seeing them. So right now, tornado warning continues for Johnson County, the northern tip of Magoffin County, Salyersville, you're clear for now. Back over towards West Liberty in the eastern end of Morgan County. And it's this eastern end of Morgan County is just getting hammered by hail and heavy rain right now. And folks, that is heading towards Paintsville. So if you live in Paintsville, about another 20-30 minutes, this thing's going to be on downtown and it could get a little nasty. Also, southern end of Rowan County back over into Elliott County, just south of Sandy Hook. That area is also producing some very large hail, according to Doppler radar. And between Frenchburg and Mount Sterling over towards Menifee County, another area showing just heavy, heavy hail signatures and heavy rain with that pink and purple showing up. And that is continuing to work its way off to the east at about 45 to 50 miles per hour. So we're just seeing several clusters of thunderstorms pushing off to the east and southeast at about 50 miles per hour. And any one of these has the potential to produce wind damage, large hail, heavy rain, lightning, and quick spin-up tornadoes, Brandon Orr.
And Shane, you were just mentioning that storm up towards Mount Sterling. We have a report of hail at 1 inch in diameter associated with that. So that's the other threat we were talking about, is a lot of the hail associated with some of these thunderstorms as well. I'm also seeing on Pinpoint Doppler some signatures of very strong wind gusts in far northern Magoffin County to the north of Salyersville. What these thunderstorms do is they push out a lot of wind. All that rain that's coming out of these thunderstorms drags down the strong winds that are above us in the clouds, where the wind is blowing 70, 80 miles per hour up where the clouds are, and it brings some of that wind, at least a part of it, down towards the ground. So we could be seeing some strong wind gusts to 60 miles per hour, or in some isolated locations a little bit stronger than that there in northern Magoffin County over towards Morgan County. That's moving into Johnson County. So right now, if you're in Paintsville and Johnson County, we saw one storm a short time ago. Now we're seeing another storm move on into the area. So if you're in Martin and Johnson County, prepare yet for another strong to severe thunderstorm pushing through the area with an area of rotation with it, and it could develop a funnel cloud or tornado at any time as it gets ready to push through northern Magoffin County and into Johnson.
And Brandon, what I want you to do now is, if you can, pull up the 3D radar display on our secondary computer, and we'll go to that here in a second. Let's give him a few minutes to get that ready. But we'll take a look at these storms here in 3D in just a second. But these thunderstorms, like Brandon mentioned, have a history of producing large hail, history of producing funnel clouds and gusty winds. And that's because these thunderstorms are on the strong side. They're tall. They've got very tall updrafts going upwards of 40, 45,000 feet right now. And that's not as tall as they get in the spring or summertime, but with as much cold air as we've got right now, that's more than enough to cause problems. And if we've got that ready to go, we do. Let's go ahead and pull up 3D Pinpoint Doppler radar, and you can see how these thunderstorms are on the taller side. Just notice how the reds shoot up into the atmosphere as we look at this storm complex pretty much near the Mountain Parkway. And each one where you see the reds, that is a taller thunderstorm. Those updrafts can carry those rain droplets up higher in the atmosphere. It's already below freezing at that point. They crystallize and freeze. They form the hail, and they get blown around, round and around until they become so heavy the updrafts can't carry them anymore. They get caught in a downdraft and fall down to the surface. And we've seen reports of golf ball size hail off to our west. We've seen the quarter size hail in near West Liberty. So folks, these thunderstorms have the potential of hail, not to mention with that kind of an updraft, you also get very heavy rain, and then you also get the gusty winds, as Brandon mentioned, 60 to 70 miles per hour. So we'll go back to the regular Doppler radar right now, Pinpoint Doppler, showing that those thunderstorms continuing to work off to the east and southeast. Tornado warning continues until 9 o'clock for Menifee, Montgomery, Morgan, and Wolfe counties. This is actually a new warning that includes portions of Wolfe County now. That is the northern end of Wolfe County, and that is a warning that will not hit Campton, but it's going to pass off to the north, Brandon Orr.
That's exactly right. This is the latest tornado warning that we just had come out just a minute ago. This goes for Menifee, Montgomery, Morgan, and Wolfe counties. That goes until 9 o'clock, so we still have about 35 minutes that goes through. It's moving over Frenchburg right now and portions of Menifee County, so this is pushing into far northern Wolfe County. This does not include Campton. It's just to the north of Campton, and this will eventually move into southern Morgan County. Morgan County, we've been talking about them all night long because they've just been getting storm after storm, but there is some weak to moderate rotation right around moving into Frenchburg in Menifee County and pushing down towards southern Morgan County. That's why the National Weather Service has put out that new warning that goes well in advance of the thunderstorm. They're giving you a very good lead time with these storms as it pushes on into Morgan County. And they're also noting some ping pong ball size hail possible out of some of these, because that's what we've also been talking to you about over the past hour or two, is the increase in intensity of some of the hail that's pushing through some of these. Also on Pinpoint Doppler, we're noticing some very strong wind gusts here in northern Magoffin County. We'll zoom the radar over to northern Magoffin County because that's where we're seeing this storm that's pushing into Paintsville and Johnson County. We're getting reports on at least some indication, I should say, on Pinpoint Doppler of some very strong wind gusts, upwards of 60, possibly 70 miles per hour in some locations. If we can get some of these strong wind gusts that are above us, up near the clouds, sometimes the rain can drag that down towards the ground, and we could be seeing that right now over towards Wheelersburg, right over Silver Hill, which is right there on the border of northern Magoffin County. And this is pushing into Paintsville. So if you're in Paintsville right now, you should be preparing for some very strong wind gusts, as well as a possible funnel cloud or tornado, because that tornado warning goes for just about all of Johnson County, including downtown Paintsville. And let's see if we can see what time that expires.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. So we still have about half an hour. It's going to take this storm a while to push through Johnson County.
And if we can, real quick, I want to switch over to the Facebook computer. And we just got this picture from Ralph Caldwell up in Mount Sterling, almost 2-inch diameter hail. That is a very large hailstone that fell in Mount Sterling. And if we switch back over to Pinpoint Doppler, I can show you the storm that caused that. That would be this cell that is moving towards Frenchburg right now. So you folks over in Menifee County over towards Frenchburg, I'd be putting the cars in the garage because we can go back to that hail shot. You can see 2-inch diameter hail. That is some very, very, very big hail that fell through portions of Mount Sterling there just off to the west of Frenchburg, Brandon.
And Shane, some of our viewers have been following along with us with these storms over the past couple of hours or so, and you may have noticed we were showing you something else on Pinpoint Doppler, showing some hen egg size hail, because Pinpoint Doppler can actually estimate the size of hail in some of these thunderstorms, and that's what 2-inch hail is. That's about the size of an egg, and that's what we're seeing that has been falling over Mount Sterling. That's just outside of our viewing area, but that storm is starting to push into Frenchburg near Menifee County, where we do have some viewers out there, and eventually that will make it into far northern Wolfe County and southern Morgan County, not only with the large hail, but also the threat for an isolated tornado or two. So you can see quarter-size hail estimated out of that storm. Also, the one in eastern Morgan County that's pushing into Paintsville, along with those very strong wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour.
That's right, Brandon. And once again, these thunderstorms, several threats with them tonight. We've got the tornado threat, we've got the hail threat, we've got the heavy rain flooding threat, and we have the wind threat, folks. So these thunderstorms are not messing around tonight. They are definitely causing their share of problems. As you've seen now, I mean, we've got confirmed reports of large hail in or near the area. We've got just multiple reports of funnel clouds earlier in Magoffin and Johnson County. So multifaceted threats tonight. I know a lot of folks wanting to tune in to see the CBS primetime programming tonight. But folks, it is our policy that when we have severe weather and tornadoes in our area, that we stay with it. And we've got several active tornado warnings in our coverage area. So as long as there are folks that we protect and cover in the path of danger, we're going to stay with this and continue to bring you the latest information as this thunderstorm complex continues to push off to the east. Paintsville, you are under the gun right now. This thunderstorm system just barreling down on town, heavy rain, hail, the potential of gusty winds, maybe even a quick spin-up tornado, especially the northern end of Johnson County. Notice where we were seeing this little inflow notch, this little hook just to the west of Inez as it's getting ready to move into Martin County. Looks like we got a new severe thunderstorm warning out, Brandon, for portions of Martin and Johnson County.
That goes until around 9:15, so it's about 45 minutes long. Some hail, a very large hail associated with this severe thunderstorm warning that goes for Johnson and Martin counties till 9:15. In addition to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, ping-pong ball-size hail is being estimated by Doppler radar as it pushes on into portions of northern Martin County. So if you're near Inez, it's getting some light to moderate rain in Inez right now, but within about 30 to 45 minutes, we can expect some hail in downtown Inez up to ping pong ball size.
Yeah, and that is hail. That, folks, that's not only hail that'll damage cars. That'll damage crops. That will damage weak and old roofing, vinyl siding on houses. So ping pong ball size hail is nothing to mess around with, and especially if you start getting larger than that. Start getting up closer to like egg size hail, like what we saw earlier back towards Mount Sterling. You can see these thunderstorms continuing the race off to the east southeast about 40 to 50 miles per hour. Paintsville, Inez right now under the gun. We zoom the radar back out, go over to Frenchburg. You can see that storm right on top of you. And what we're going to do now is let's switch over to the backup computer so we can get a little refresh on a pinpoint Doppler. We'll take a look at the 3D view right now while we go ahead and start getting old pinpoint Doppler back through the paces. But you can see on this 3D Doppler view, Brandon, just several storms towering up, very tall thunderstorms. We're seeing right now, just looking at some of the estimates on these storms. I mean, these are thunderstorms heading up close to the 30,000 range for this time of year. That's not bad.
That's right. Some of them are actually up to around 40,000 feet tall into the sky. So if you take that into account, our freezing level, it gets below freezing about 8,000 feet. Most of that thunderstorm is actually below freezing. So that's why we have a lot of hail that's falling out of some of these thunderstorms, as the raindrops that are falling actually get sucked up by the thunderstorm where it's below freezing. They freeze, they get another layer of water on it, they freeze again, and that process keeps repeating as we get more and more layers on the hail, and eventually it grows so large that it just falls. And we were talking about that photo that we had shown just a little bit ago of hail up to hen egg size. It's 2-inch in diameter hail up towards Mount Sterling. That's the same storm that's now over Menifee County that's pushing through portions of Frenchburg. And you can actually see what you're looking at now is the 3D version of pinpoint Doppler. We can see the storm in 3D, and those heights of the storms that you can see there are right around 40,000 feet. So that's why the hail is a big portion of these thunderstorms as well. But pinpoint Doppler shows the storms moving off towards the south and east fairly quickly at around 50 to 55 miles per hour in some locations. But notice the red box that's outlining portions of eastern Kentucky. That's the tornado watch box that previously, if you watched us during Mountain News a little bit earlier on this evening or saw it on the bottom of your screen, we've been scrolling all the weather information down there, you notice it went out to around 9 o'clock. That has since been extended until 11 o'clock this evening because these storms are going to persist well into the evening hours. It's going to take at least until maybe 2 a.m. to get these storms to finally die on out as they push on off towards the east, because there is more storms out towards the west. You can see here on pinpoint Doppler over towards Louisville, that's where we're seeing more thunderstorms develop out there that will push into the rest of our area. So if you're in downtown Hazard over towards London and Corbin, Somerset, Bell County, McCreary, Harlan or Letcher, even Pikeville is mainly dry right now. But we have more thunderstorms developing off towards the western coal fields, and that will push into our area here in the eastern coal fields here within the next few hours or so. So we still have a while to go with some of these thunderstorms that most of them actually have some amount of rotation with them up towards the Mountain Parkway. And if you've been joining us with this severe weather coverage, we've been going on for hours covering the possibility of a tornado or funnel cloud with any of these thunderstorms. Most of them have been along the Mountain Parkway. And there has been a little boundary that has been up there, and that's what's causing these thunderstorms to fire off over the same exact locations as they move from west to east over one another. So if you're over towards Johnson County, we're seeing that one storm start to push in there, likely with some hail as it pushes over towards Paintsville. This is moving towards Martin County near downtown Inez, also with some hail up to ping pong ball size. That's what the severe thunderstorm warning is for. ping pong ball size hail, Shane.
Yeah, let's go ahead and kick it back over to Pinpoint Doppler. We've got the other view back up with the warnings currently pulled up. And we're going to just go through and break down each county's warning county by county. First off, we're going to start off over in the eastern portion of our coverage area. Lawrence, Mingo, and Wayne County, West Virginia. So that's Lawrence and in Kentucky, Mingo and Wayne in West Virginia. Severe thunderstorm warning until 9:15. We go a little bit to the west of that. Tornado warning till 9 o'clock for Johnson, Magoffin, and Morgan County. That's for the southern end of Johnson County. The northern end of Johnson County, the tornado warning goes till 8:45. But right now, the Johnson County is definitely seeing the worst of this storm. Just had a question: how much is the eastern part of Johnson County going to get? Eastern Johnson County, especially due east of Paintsville, we're going to see some very heavy rain, some strong gusty winds, some hail, and you have the rotation on the south side of this storm near Paintsville right now. So can't rule out a quick spin up, but that is something we'll continue to keep an eye on. We work back off to the west, and we continue to have a severe thunderstorm warning into portions of Johnson, Magoffin, Menifee, Montgomery, and Morgan County until 8:45 tonight. The tornado warning continues now for Menifee, Morgan, and Wolfe County until 9 o'clock. For this cell back towards Frenchburg, that's getting ready to work through western Morgan County and work through northern Wolfe County. So you folks up north of Campton, but between, I'd say north of Campton and Sayersville on the Mountain Parkway, be on the lookout as this thunderstorm continues to work off to the south and the east, and still seeing some pretty decent rotation on the thunderstorm near Frenchburg and also the one near Paintsville, Brandon.
That's right. That's the main one we're looking at in terms of the tornado threat is actually in central Johnson County. That's towards Paintsville. That's moving all the way across. It's going to traverse the whole county of Johnson and eventually move into Martin County, especially south of Inez in the southern portion of Martin County here over the next hour or so. This is the area where we're seeing some rotation, and it also looks like there's some very strong wind gusts, and Shane is circling that area, moving right through downtown Paintsville. Some strong wind gusts also noted on Pinpoint Doppler with that. Now we just have another severe thunderstorm warning that looks like it just popped on up for parts of the area, and we'll pull up the information on that warning so you can see it on your screen as we do as well. That goes for Floyd, Johnson, Magoffin, Menifee, and Morgan County. That goes almost a full hour to around 9:30 for some very strong wind gusts up to around 60 miles per hour in parts of these storms, as well as hail up to quarter size in those counties.
Yeah, that's right, Brandon. Once again, we want to remind folks that if you have questions, pictures, send them to us, WYMT Facebook page. We will get to those just as soon as we can. But once again, right now, these thunderstorms tonight have definitely been on the strong side and definitely produced some large hail, some gusty winds. We had a couple reports of funnel clouds. So folks, that's why we are staying with these tornado warnings. It's our policy here at WYMT. There's a tornado warning out, we stay with it until it's over. We want to keep our friends and neighbors safe and keep their property protected to the best of our ability. And these are the type of thunderstorms we're seeing tonight. While they may not produce long track tornadoes, they have the potential of producing some brief spin ups, some gusty winds, some heavy rain, some lightning, and not to mention the hail. And Brandon, we haven't even really tapped into the flooding threat too much tonight just yet.
That's right, because these thunderstorms continue to dump some heavy rain, but eventually, if we zoom Pinpoint Doppler out, you can see all of the thunderstorm activity on off towards the west. It goes all the way back towards Louisville in some of the thunderstorms, and they're all going to move over these same locations. Shane, we've been on the air for a while now because we've had these tornado warnings across the area, and they continue to move. We're talking about the same location for the past 2 hours because this line of storms is moving over the same location.
And that's right. And this is even an area that we were talking about earlier in the day when we had that first line of storms move through just after about 4:30 or so. So we've been on the air now, off and on, pretty much since 4 o'clock with Mountain News First at 4. And folks, the weather it is not letting up any, especially in the northern portion of our coverage area. Now, I know you folks here in Hazard, back towards London, Somerset, Barberville, just saying, guys, what is going on? Well, it's not in y'all's neighborhood. It's up to the north. It's this line of thunderstorms stretching all the way from just north of Williamson, back over towards Mingo County, West Virginia, all the way towards central Kentucky, even extending back towards Elizabethtown, Kentucky. And this line of storms is just continuing to develop, to dip slowly south, but the individual cells working their way to the east. So we got two movement components. We want to loop the radar, Brandon, and we will see how the individual cells work from west to east, but the overall line slowly sinking off to the south. And you can see that it's going to take a while to pass these storms, folks. It's kind of like a kidney stone. It's just not wanting to get out of here, and it's causing us a lot of grief. And until we get this line of storms on out of here, we're going to continue to deal with problems tonight. Heavy rain could cause flooding. Each one of these thunderstorms has the potential of producing a tornado, not to mention gusty winds in excess of 60 to 70 miles per hour. We've already seen several reports of 1 to 2 inch diameter hail. That is enough to cause damage. And oh yeah, we've even got lightning with these storms. So multiple facets to this thunderstorm complex as it continues to work its way with the individual cells moving east-southeast and the overall line slowly dipping south, Brandon Orr.
That's right, and it looks like we have another tornado warning that was just issued right about now over towards Menifee County. That goes until 9:15. Seeing some rotation on radar just pretty close to Grassy Lake, and that's moving to the east at 55 miles per hour. Menifee has gotten a lot of storms today, just like Morgan County, one after the other. And that's where we have that new tornado warning, as a lot of these storms have just enough rotation that could produce a funnel cloud or a tornado at any time. Now, we're not getting a lot of reports of funnel clouds or tornadoes out of any of these thunderstorms, but one could develop at any time. And now that it's nighttime, it's actually hard to see any funnel clouds that actually develop, because a lot of these are developing just enough rotation to actually develop a funnel cloud every once in a while, and then it goes away and then it comes back. We saw that in portions of the Big Sandy a little bit earlier on this afternoon. We've had some reports of some funnel clouds just to the north and west of Paintsville. As all these storms continue to push on down to the south and east, and just about every one of them is severe and has rotation, Shane.
Yeah, that's right, Brandon. And once again, there's several thunderstorms out there right now. For anyone under a severe thunderstorm or tornado warning, you need to be in your tornado safety place. Any one of these storms could quickly spin up or produce gusty winds, large hail, lightning. So let's just go warning by warning, county by county. Lawrence, Mingo, and Wayne County, severe thunderstorm warning till 9:15. The tornado warning continues for Johnson, Morgan, and Magoffin County until 9 o'clock. 8:45 for Johnson County and the southern tip of Elliott County, although it looks like the tornadic part of that thunderstorm, if there is any, has now just crossed the county line over into portions of Lawrence County and northern Johnson County. Also back off to the west, we've got that new warning that goes into portions of Wolfe County. That also includes Morgan and Menifee County until 9 o'clock, and then just west of that, we've got the new warning for Menifee and Montgomery County until 9:15. So you folks in any of the counties I just mentioned need to seek your tornado safety places right now. Get to the lowest level of your home, preferably a basement. But if you don't have that, a closet will work, a bathroom will work. You just want to put as many walls between you and the outside world as possible, and you want to cover your head. Most tornado-related injuries are caused by trauma from debris hitting you during the tornado. So once again, if you can protect your head, that is the best way to combat tornado-related injuries, Brandon.
That's exactly right. Now, we're getting a lot of photos in on our Facebook page. We've had some that Shane is pulling up right now out of Johnson County of some lightning. That one's pretty neat to look at least on the photo, but I'm sure when you're actually there, they are tired of the storms up towards Paintsville and Johnson and Martin counties. And unfortunately, there's more on the way. Also, some large hail in excess of 2 inches. That's off towards Scott County. That's out of our viewing area, closer to parts of the bluegrass. You can go on our Facebook page and actually look at these photos and share some of the photos with us as well. We showed one of them a little bit earlier of 2-inch size hail. That's about the size of an egg That's out towards Mount Sterling. That's the same storm that is pushing through Menifee County right now and pushing through parts of Morgan County. We can switch on over to the weather computer, Shane, and show some of the photos that you have been picking up on Facebook.
Yeah, these are some of the ones you were just mentioning, Brandon. First off, looking at this picture of lightning in Johnson County from Wendy Hayden. You can see this. She caught that lightning. We can continue to, oh, here's that picture you mentioned of the hail from Georgetown. That's a little bit out of the viewing area, but daggone, that is some big hail. That looks maybe 2.5 inch diameter there, Brandon?
That looks about like 2-inch diameter hail, similar to that other picture. If you scroll down a little bit more, you can see the one we showed a little bit earlier. That's the one that moved through Mount Sterling of 2-inch hail. They actually put a ruler, a measuring tape next to it so you can actually see the diameter of the hail.
Yeah, and then, wow, check out this picture of the lightning in Sayersville from Nick Wayne Howard. So, just a lot of busy weather tonight, folks. Let's go back over to Pinpoint Doppler, and we will continue to just track these thunderstorms as they move their way off to the east and southeast. And we are seeing just round after round after round of thunderstorm action roll through northeastern Kentucky, right on the periphery of our coverage area, but still counties we care a lot about, people we care a lot about, and we want to keep you up to date with the latest as to what's going on. We continue to have a tornado warning in effect for portions of Johnson County, Morgan and Magoffin County. That one goes until 8:45, I believe. Let me pull that up here if we can get the tool on there. Or that one's till 9 o'clock, excuse me. So about another 15 minutes on that. We've got the one off to the west, which includes portions of Wolfe County, Morgan County, Menifee County until 9 o'clock, and back off to the west of that, the one from Menifee and Montgomery and Bath County until 9:15, Brandon.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And if we zoom out, we can actually see what's going on in the southern portions of our area, because we're getting a lot of comments, like we mentioned a little bit earlier on, down towards Pikeville. They're seeing a lot of lightning in the distance, but they're not seeing anything in the way of shower or thunderstorm activity in a while. Same down towards Hazard, not seeing any rainfall in a while. Down towards Pulaski County, London, Corbin, down towards Bell County. If you're around Middlesboro, it's been dry lately. And you've been saying, what thunderstorms? Most of these have been right around the Mountain Parkway, but on off towards the west, just within the past hour or two, that's where we have been seeing some of these showers and thunderstorms continuing to develop as they push on off towards the south and east. And you can see some of the tornado warnings that have been going on into effect. That's why we've been on air throughout the entire evening, because a lot of these thunderstorms around the Mountain Parkway have the potential to produce some tornadoes. And this is our latest tornado warning that Shane popped up for us. This goes for portions of Martin County until 9 o'clock. A severe thunderstorm there. They're looking at it on radar. There's enough rotation for a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Wells, and that's moving to the east at about 45 miles per hour. So eventually that will make it over into portions of our West Virginia counties here over the next couple of hours or two. But you can see also some large hail. That's the same severe thunderstorm warning we were talking about earlier, with hail at the ping pong ball size here in the northern half of Martin County near Inez, as it continues to drop off to the south and east. And that's just one car on a long train of storms that go all the way back towards Lexington. And most of these are actually rotating at this time. So that's why we have a lot of these tornado warnings out. So you still want to be in your safe place if you're in Martin County over towards Johnson, Morgan County, getting the second, third, fourth storm in some areas. This is moving just to the south of West Liberty. This will push through southern Morgan County, also with quite a bit of hail, and that's where that tornado warning, which goes up until about 10 more minutes from now. So we'll see if that one actually continues to get extended out a little past 9 o'clock, because it has about 10 minutes left on it as it pushes off towards the south and east. And you can see this other one that goes until 9:15, so I have about 25 minutes left on that one, from Bath, Menifee, and over towards Montgomery County, as all these storms die on out to the south and east. So that's where most of these storms are. If you're right around the Mountain Parkway, if you've been getting storms over the past couple of hours, you still want to be in your safe place, because there's still the potential for some funnel clouds to develop. We have reports of some funnel clouds in parts of the these areas. But Shane, if we can zoom out a little bit more, I want to show some of these storms that's over towards Louisville, because within the past couple of hours, we've seen more storms develop out to the west, right along I-75. Some of these will continue to move down ever so slowly in the whole grand scheme of things, pushing down to the south and east at around 45 to 50 miles per hour. And this line will continue to push down towards places like Hazard, Pikeville, where we haven't had a lot of rain recently, over towards London and Corbin. So even though you've been dry lately, you're not out of the woods just yet. That's exactly what the National Weather Service was looking at when they extended this tornado watch box out until around 11 o'clock. You can see those storms moving over the same exact areas, one after the other. So where you've been getting a lot of rain recently, we're also looking at some flooding problems out of some of these storms, dropping over an inch of rain in some locations, approaching close to 2 inches in some isolated areas as they dive on off towards the south and east. So that's another threat that we're looking at over the next couple of hours, Shane.
Yeah, that's right, Brandon. These storms just, they continue to be some real problem makers. Just so many active warnings right now. It's not something you see too often in October as we switch the radar data back over to the sweep out of Jackson, and you can see that it is just a very, very potent cluster of storms. Inez, you need to be in your shelter right now. Same story over towards Kermit. Paintsville, you're in the clear for now, but there's another storm heading your way. West Liberty, I hate to say it, you need to be back in your shelter as this storm passing through town right now once again. And we got another one just west of Frenchburg back over towards Mount Sterling. So we're just seeing the storm train continue to roll on the same places, getting inundated with severe storm after severe storm. And that cell near Frenchburg is showing quite a bit of rotation on radar.
That's right, as well as some strong gusty winds. That's going to be the main thing with some of these. That could bring some limbs down easily as that pushes eventually on into Menifee County and central Frenchburg as it moves on off towards the south and east. That's where that tornado warning continues to go out at least for a little bit longer up until around 9:15. Frenchburg right now already had a tornado warning. That storm has since moved on off towards southern Morgan County. This is to the south of West Liberty. West Liberty right now, we're just getting some very heavy rainfall, maybe some small hail in a few locations, but the heaviest of the winds will actually pass just to the south of West Liberty in southern Morgan County. So if you're in McGoffin County near Salyersville, the storm is heading in your direction, especially mainly to the north side of Salyersville on up towards northern McGoffin County. Prepare for some very strong wind gusts that could bring down some tree limbs, as well as Johnson County still getting the rain. And now this one storm is pushing in towards Martin County. So Inez is right now getting some strong wind gusts, as well as some very heavy rainfall.
Yeah, and we've been talking about the lightning a bit too with these thunderstorms. Got a pretty decent pick in from northern Johnson County, sent to us from Goldie Castle on the WYMT Facebook page. You can see she caught that bolt about as good as you can, and that lightning just continuing to cause problems. Also, not to mention the heavy rain, the hail, the gusty winds. Let's go back to pinpoint Doppler, and we'll get the camera back set up for me, and you're going to see that those showers and storms continue to work off to the south and the east. And they're continuing to roll along, folks, and we're going to stay with it as long as we have active tornado warnings. Right now, most of the warnings getting ready to expire at 9, but a few continue on till 9:15. We're going to start off with a warning for Martin County. That warning goes for another 21 minutes. That goes until 9:15. That also includes portions of northeastern Johnson County, and this thunderstorm moving right through Inez. You can just see just really bringing the rain, some gusty winds with that. Right now I'm seeing wind gusts possible in that thunderstorm close to 60, 65 miles per hour, and some intense lightning. We'll scoot the radar back off to the west, Brandon, and take a look at this next thunderstorm. It's moving into West Liberty as we speak, and oof, that storm, I don't like what I'm seeing on the southern end. Anytime you start to see a little kidney bean shape on the radar reflectivity, that's usually not a good sign, as it may be trying to rotate a little bit, get a little quick spin up. And even without a spin up, some of the wind gust estimates I'm seeing in this line of thunderstorms right now, getting close to 60, 65 miles per hour. So some gusty winds going through the southern end of Morgan County, right there from West Liberty, points to the south like you're heading down towards the Mountain Parkway, down into Wolfe County. And back off to the west, Frenchburg, you're under the gun again. Not right now, but give it about another 20 minutes or so. And that hail-producing and possible tornado-producing storm from Mount Sterling will come right on down good old 460 there and move on into town. So 3 thunderstorms we're tracking right now, each with the potential of producing tornadoes. We're coming up on 9 o'clock. I'm Chief Meteorologist Shane Smith. You're watching WYMT TV here in Hazard, Kentucky. We are channel DT57. And what we are seeing is just a late season severe weather outbreak, my friends. It's not your typical severe weather we see here in eastern Kentucky. We're seeing what's called a high shear environment. There's just a lot of strong, spinny wind in the atmosphere right now. We didn't have all the typical ingredients to come together for severe weather today, but nonetheless, we had just enough of the right ones to cause some problems and cause each one of these thunderstorms that have developed the potential to rotate and also the potential to drop some large amounts of hail or just some large hail, period, Brandon.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's what we're seeing at a lot of these thunderstorms. And we're trying to find more pictures on our Facebook page. You can actually interact with us on Facebook. We have Brandon Robinson, who's actually behind the scenes working hard all night long like we are, answering questions and interacting with our viewers on Facebook as well. So we have this one photo you can see. This was earlier on into the afternoon over towards Royalton. That's in Magoffin County. You can see this one sent in by Michelle Risner of a tree down. Looks like a Bradford pear tree. So part of it has blew over there. That's earlier on into the afternoon. And we're talking about, yet again, Shane, another storm that's near West Liberty. And that's pushing on off towards the south and east towards Magoffin County with more strong thunderstorms. And you may have seen it just pop up on Pinpoint Doppler, just like Shane and I have just a moment ago. We have a new tornado warning out, and we're getting more information on that because it just popped up as we're looking at it here just a moment ago. That goes for, let's see, Floyd, Johnson, Magoffin, and Morgan County, and that goes up until around 9:30. So they're doing that one for the next 30 minutes or so. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, they're looking at the rotation on Doppler radar, was located near Panama, and that's moving to the east at 55 miles per hour. Again, that's for Floyd, Johnson, Magoffin, and Morgan County, Shane.
Yeah, and I'm reorienting the radar right now just to kind of zoom in on that storm. And it's for the storm right now that's on top of West Liberty. The core of that storm, at least where the rotation is off to the south. And I just want to put a storm track on this because there's a couple of big towns in the path of this storm. Once again, this thunderstorm, what speed is it moving at, Brandon?
Let's see, it looks like it's moving to the east. It's moving at a fairly good clip as well. All these storms are moving pretty fast to the east, but this one's moving at around 55 miles per hour, just a little bit to the south of east.
All right, just a little bit to the south of the east. So we're going to put a storm track on this. This storm doing 55 miles per hour. And we're going to put this on where we see the rotation in this thunderstorm and just take it a little bit east-southeast. We'll take it out for about the next half hour or so. And you can see that does include Salyersville. That would be coming up here, I'd say around 9:15, 9:10 or so. 9:01 at Epsom, 9:01 Wani, 9:03 Hellberg, 9:07 Parley, and we'll go ahead and also take a look at some of the other of the places in this the path of this storm. Once again, Weather Service just putting out this new tornado warning located near Panama, moving east-southeast at around 45 miles per hour. And this storm will be near Bloomington and Wani around 9:05, Perli and Cyrus around 9:10, Falcon and Brownlow around 9:15, Ballard and Dobson around 9:20, Patrick and East Point around 9:25, and Nero and Prestonsburg around 9:30. So Salyersville, this is going to pass just north of you, but we're going to be cutting it close on this one. If you're in Salyersville, Prestonsburg, northern Magoffin County, eastern Morgan County, western, southwestern Johnson County, and northwestern Floyd County. You folks need to be taking shelter now. It looks like the core of this storm, Brandon, is going to pass just to the north of Salyersville and eventually work down and split between Paintsville and Prestonsburg.
That's right, and Salyersville is actually included in that tornado warning, as such as Prestonsburg. And we actually have our network of weather cameras. We have one in near downtown Prestonsburg. It's on the north side at Stonecrest Golf Course. We'll try and get that one pulled up a little bit later. And actually Shane is seeing it right now to see if we can see any lightning off to the distance, because that camera actually points off towards the west. So we'll have a good view of that storm as it pushes on in. And we can actually go over to that camera right now, because I saw a little bit of lightning there on off towards the east. I don't know how well it's going to show up here, but eventually that storm will make it into the area. It's on the far right-hand side of the screen. It's pretty small because the storm is still a distance away from Prestonsburg, Shane.
Yeah, let's go back to pinpoint Doppler. I'd say we'll come back to that Prestonsburg cam about 9:25 there at the Stonecrest Golf Course, and it'll be showing quite a show at that point. But in the meantime, yes, we continue to track this severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. It's south of West Liberty, moving east at 55. If you're in Salyersville, Paintsville, Prestonsburg, you need to seek shelter now. You need to get to the lowest level of your home. You need to be in a center room, a basement, or a closet. Put as many walls between you and the outside world as possible, as this thunderstorm showing some very gusty winds on radar, and also showing the potential of a little bit of large hail there to the south of West Liberty. What I'm going to do right now is pull up two of our different radar products. First of all, what we're going to look at is the shear right now, and you can see a fair amount of that, Brandon, to the south of West Liberty. I think that's why the Weather Service is put that tornado warning out. Seeing some strong shear in that thunderstorm. That just means rotation in the atmosphere, and we're also seeing with this the potential of some large hail. Some of these thunderstorms showing hail potential getting close to quarter size.
Yes, that's exactly right. So there's multiple thunderstorms again that we're dealing with, like we mentioned, over the same exact areas as they push on off towards the south and east. In addition to the tornado threat, we're also looking at a little bit of hail as these move on off towards the east. Now, Shane, we have a lot of boxes here on the screen, so if we can do a little bit of a tour and try and go through some of these warnings, we'll start at the one that's all the way farthest to the east. This one's just pushing into Mingo County in West Virginia. So there is a severe thunderstorm warning for Mingo and Wayne in West Virginia. That goes up until around 9:15, so the next 15 minutes or so. Some quarter-size hail likely in some of those, as well as some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. There's another warning that also goes out. It's mainly for portions of Martin County right now near Inez. That one will continue for the next 30 minutes. You can see Bath, Floyd, Johnson, Magoffin, Menifee, and also Morgan with that severe thunderstorm warning, because we're seeing wind gusts to around 60 miles per hour likely in some of these thunderstorms as it pushes on off towards the south and east. You can see that storm right here in Johnson County pushing into Martin near Inez, which is getting one storm right now. So if you're in Inez, you can expect another storm to move your way here in the next 30 to 45 minutes or so. And now if we go a little bit farther off towards the west, this is our latest tornado warning that we have. There's rotation indicated on pinpoint Doppler, and a funnel cloud or a tornado could develop at any moment. This goes for Floyd, Johnson, Magoffin, and also Morgan County. That one expires in about 27 minutes from now. So at 9:30, this one will expire. You can see the bottom edge of this storm. This is where we're seeing the rotation on the southern end of this storm that's pushing through southern Morgan County. It's now past West Liberty, and Shane is circling it for me. This is where we're seeing that rotation, and it's pushing right towards Salyersville and northern Magoffin County. So if you're in northern Magoffin County right now, in the vicinity of Salyersville, especially on the north end of town, that's where you want to be in a safe place. You want to go to an interior your room or closet, because there's just enough rotation on pinpoint Doppler that we could have a funnel cloud develop. Now, this will eventually push down towards far southern Johnson County and eventually into northern Floyd County. So if you're in Prestonsburg, you've been dry for the past couple of hours. We haven't mentioned Floyd County recently. We haven't seen a lot of storms there, but that's where we're going to have this storm eventually make it on down to within the next hour or so. Farther off towards the west, we have another thunderstorm. You can see off towards portions of Mount Sterling. This one goes for Bath, Menifee, and Montgomery County till around 9:15. This is moving into Frenchburg right now. That's in central Menifee County. So Menifee County, once again, getting hit with another thunderstorm, likely has some hail associated with it. That's what that pink area is off towards Frenchburg. We had some hail reports out there, especially out towards Mount Sterling. We've had some photos sent into WYMT's Facebook page. Shane is circling it for you, that area of pink. Hail 2 inches in diameter. That's almost the size of my palm. That's about egg-size hail. You can go onto our Facebook page on WYMT. Just search for us on Facebook or even Twitter, and you can actually view some of those photos yourself, just like we are. And if you have any photos to share, and it's safe to do so, to take those photos, you can go ahead and log onto our Facebook page and send them, and that will help tell us the weather story as well. But if we zoom out for a very wide view, we can see this train of thunderstorms goes all the way back out towards Lexington and eventually western Kentucky out towards Louisville, just to the east of Louisville now. And this will eventually, you can see some of these have been popping up recently. You can see these deep reds. That's some more thunderstorms that have developed off towards the western coal fields. So we're likely going to be tracking some thunderstorms for the next several hours that will push down in places that haven't seen thunderstorms recently, like down towards Hazard or London. Much of the Kentucky River Valley can expect more thunderstorms later on this evening. So we're going to be watching these over the next several hours, not only with the threat for some tornadoes with some of these. That's why we have those tornado warnings out. You can see those scrolling on the bottom of your screen. But Shane, all of these thunderstorms you see here are moving over the same areas. That's going to provide some flooding problems here shortly, right?
That really is, Brandon. And what I'm going to do right now is switch over to the Jackson Weather Service radar, the storm total precipitation. Just take a look at how much rain we've seen over the last couple of days. And I want to highlight these areas that are seeing the rain just over and over again. Anywhere you see the greens, that is over 2 inches of precipitation over the last 24 hours. And those yellows, that's getting up into the 3 to 4 inch range. So we are seeing just the same areas where we currently have the severe thunderstorm and the tornado warnings, also seeing some just heavy rain over and over again. So while we don't have any flood warnings now, this could be an issue, especially with more thunderstorms developing off to the west. You can see some stronger storms stretching from Elizabethtown over towards Danville. So unfortunately, we are not out of the woods just yet, as we've got several areas of thunderstorms causing problems. But our main concern right now is this thunderstorm that is producing a tornado warning into portions of Magoffin County, into Floyd and Johnson counties. This tornado warning goes all the way up until 9:30, and it also includes Morgan County. But Morgan County, this storm is moving out, but you've got another storm about to move in from towards Frenchburg, about the 4th or 5th one this evening. It's kind of hard to keep track because you all have been getting hit so much. But we're seeing the worst of this storm now getting ready to just pass right north of Salyersville. Salyersville, you need to be in your tornado safety spot. You need to be in the lowest level of your home, away from windows. And we are continuing to see some signs of some strong wind in this storm just to the north of Salyersville. In fact, I've seen some wind gusts approaching close to 70 miles per hour with some of the latest scans. So once again, folks, even if there isn't a tornado in this, there are some very strong winds, and those can cause problems. Those can bring down trees. Those can cause problems with the power lines, and we will continue to monitor this storm as it pushes off to the south and the east. Brandon.
Yes, that's exactly right. We just have one report now. This comes from the emergency manager relayed by the National Weather Service near Oil Springs. If you're not familiar where that is, that's to the west of Paintsville, like you're going down 460, and to the west of Staffordsville. Getting reports there in Johnson County. That's the far western edge of some wind damage, trees being blown down in those areas as well. Up towards Montgomery County near Mount Sterling. That's a report that we got just about 4 or 5 minutes ago of some quarter-size hail. That's where we've seen a lot of hail, is up towards Montgomery County near Mount Sterling, just outside of our viewing area. So these tornado warnings continue, and we haven't seen a lot of reports of tornadoes. In fact, we haven't seen any reports of tornadoes during the day today, Shane, but we've had several reports of funnel clouds, and the potential is there for some of these thunderstorms, especially that one that's pushing in towards Frenchburg and central Menifee County, and into northern McGoffin County. That's pushing in towards the northern side of Salyersville in northern McGoffin County. They have the potential to produce a funnel cloud or a tornado at any time. So that's why we're on air tonight, because there are viewers right now in northern McGoffin County that are looking for information on what to do. So,
and speaking of McGoffin County, I just got a tweet from Will Bingham. He just told me mothball-sized hail on Lick Creek in northern McGoffin County. That's right where this purple is showing up on pinpoint Doppler radar. So mothball-sized hail, that is some pretty large hail there, Brandon. I'm going to try to do a little better job of circling that. But you can see that area of pink and purple showing up, producing some large hail.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And what's that seeing is that the radar returns from hail show up very, very strong. So where we see these bright pinks on pinpoint Doppler, that's likely hitting pieces of ice that are falling. Some hail, some of the raindrops that get sucked up within these thunderstorms where it's below freezing way up near the clouds, and then that rain freezes into the ice pellets and they grow larger and larger until they fall. So that's what we're seeing. Like you mentioned, that report coming into us on Twitter. We've been getting a lot of reports in from our viewers today, really helping us tell the weather story in northern McGoffin County of some of that hail.
Yeah, and we very much appreciate that, Will. Thank you for sending that in to us, Will Bingham on Twitter. Once again, if you have any reports, you can hit us up on Twitter at WYMT or at Shane WYMT or at Brandon or WYMT. We will get those reports on the air as soon as we can, and we are continuing to just watch the thunderstorm action that we're seeing pushed to the east, and it is still looking very much on the strong to severe side with damaging winds, the potential for large hail, and not only that, heavy rain and lots of lightning, just a ton of lightning with these thunderstorms. I want to take just a quick second. We're going to switch over from pinpoint Doppler back over to the Facebook computer and take a look at some of these lightning pictures. Jenny Murray just sent us this picture in Sitka of a lightning bolt, and that's one of several. Paintsville from John Howard, Martin County, Kathy Howe. Wow, what a bolt of lightning. Paintsville again from John Howard, and some hail there, dime-sized hail in Flat Gap from Letha Conley, and look at that shelf cloud from Winchester from earlier in the evening. So folks, this is what we're dealing with tonight. Just lots and lots of severe weather. As always, post those pictures to the WYMT Facebook page, and we will be happy to get those on air. Brandon Robinson been updating those for us with the latest warnings on social media, trying to answer your questions as they come in. And let's go back to pinpoint Doppler and continue to just bring you up to speed on where we are at. We are approaching 9:15. It's 9:13 right now. You're watching WYMT out of Hazard, Kentucky. We are continuing to track multiple tornado-warned thunderstorms and severe thunderstorm warnings in our viewing area. Just a brand new one just coming out for our West Virginia counties, for Logan and Mingo County until 9:45. We have a warning for Lawrence, Wayne, and Mingo counties until 9:15, so this one getting ready to expire. 9:30, a tornado warning for Floyd, Johnson, McGoffin County, Morgan County. You're in the clear from that storm, but this storm off to the west also producing a tornado warning for a few more minutes in Bath and Menifee County. So Brandon, we're coming up on the expiration time on a couple of these warnings, and I got a feeling some of them are going to be extended.
Yeah, that's exactly right, because we're still seeing some rotation. And in addition to some of that rotation, we're seeing some very strong wind gusts Right now, if you're in downtown Salyersville in northern Magoffin County, you're likely getting some very strong winds. This is where the rotation is within this storm, is right near downtown Salyersville. That's pushing on off towards the south and east. That's where that tornado warning extends all the way down into the northern half of Floyd County, right around Prestonsburg. We have a camera downtown, near downtown in northern Floyd County at Stonecrest Golf Course. We'll pull it up shortly as the storm begins to approach, and you'll be able to see the numerous lightning strikes coming out of this. This is off toward the north of Pikeville. Right now we're getting reports in downtown Pikeville. You can see a lot of the lightning out of these storms, but they haven't moved in just yet, but they will eventually as more storms are now on off towards the west. But this is pushing down towards the south. So if you're in Prestonsburg right now, you know it's a populated area around here. You can expect this storm to push in within the next 30 minutes or so with a little bit of rotation. Now, the thing with these thunderstorms is, and the reason why we haven't had a lot of tornado reports, is they're very weak areas of rotation. The National Weather Service is just not confident enough to pull off these tornado warnings because sometimes we can get some damage here and there, but it's not reported until the next day. So they want to keep people safe. They want to keep you warned that these thunderstorms could develop a funnel cloud or a tornado at any time in northern Magoffin County. That's moving in towards northern Floyd County and also southern Johnson County. That's to the south of Paintsville. Paintsville will get some very strong wind gusts, some rain, and also hail, which is the second, third, fourth, in some cases fifth time we've seen these storms rolling through. And there's a lot more on off towards the west. That's what these yellow boxes are for. These are the severe thunderstorm warnings for the strong wind gusts and some hail. And these red boxes are actually the tornado warnings. That's what extends all the way down towards northern Floyd County. But right now, if you're on off towards the southern half of our viewing area, Jackson, down towards Breathitt County, even down towards Hazard, Pikeville, over towards I-75 from Rockcastle County on down towards London, Corbin, Bell County. We're hearing from a lot of you all on Facebook, and you're wondering why we're on the air right now, because we're seeing thunderstorms capable of producing a tornado up in the Big Sandy around the Mountain Parkway. But on off towards the west, we have more storms on the way. You can see how they developed on off towards the west, and they've been intensifying. We've been watching these behind the scenes carefully on off towards the west. This is west of I-75 as we get towards Danville. You can see some of the thunderstorms out towards that way. Those are going to continue to develop, and they're going to move to the south and east. So right now, most of us have been dry from Jackson down to Hazard and over towards places like London and Somerset and Pulaski County. More storms are on the way, so you could be woken up to some lightning or thunder later on through the overnight hours. It's going to be until about 1, 2 o'clock before we get these thunderstorms to move on out of the area. We had a boundary that had set up a little wind shift line, a shift in the wind, as well as some heating during the day today, and that's what really fired on up these storms. Now that the heating is gone, we have very strong winds up above us where the clouds are. In fact, the winds up there 60, 70, 80 miles per hour in some locations, and that's what's fueling some of these thunderstorms. So they're continuing well into the evening hours. If you watched us a little bit earlier on during Mountain News at 6, we told you about the severe weather alert day likely going on into the overnight hours as well. But in the good news, finally some good news, and that's much drier weather for the day tomorrow. So once these storms actually leave out of here, we're left with much quieter weather, at least through the day on Wednesday. So again, there's that tornado warning, which is the reason why we are on air right now, and that is because of the storm that's moving through the northern half of Magoffin County, and that's pushing into southern Johnson County and eventually near Prestonsburg here over the next couple of hours or so. And we'll pop that up on your screen there so you can actually see the counties, Floyd, Johnson, Magoffin, and Morgan. That goes until around 9:30, so about 12 more minutes on that. There's still some weak rotation within that. We'll see if they actually extend that a little bit on farther to the east, because that would these storms will eventually move into southern Martin County and far northern Pike County. That's towards the Williamson area where we've been getting a lot of lightning. It will move into those areas here shortly, along with the heavy rain threat, because we're still seeing storm after storm move over the same area, Shane.
Yeah, that's right, Brandon. And once again, we're continuing to stay with this long-form severe weather coverage just because it is a mess out there, folks. We've got multiple severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings, just watching them come in fast and furious tonight. Right now, severe thunderstorm warning till 9:45 for Logan and Mingo County, a severe thunderstorm warning until 9:30, so about another 12 minutes on that for Bath, Floyd, Johnson, Magoffin, Menifee, and Morgan. a tornado warning for that same cell for the portion of it moving from northern Magoffin County into Floyd and northern Floyd and southern Johnson County. And those are the active warnings we have right now, my friends. And we're going to zoom pinpoint Doppler back in, take a little bit closer look at that. And we are seeing just a mess of thunderstorm action, especially just to the north of Salyersville. I know a lot of folks in Salyersville get real skittish with thunderstorms, and especially the mention of tornadoes after what happened back on March 2nd. And right now we are continuing to see some broad rotation in these thunderstorms. We're going to put that back over, and we'll give that just a second to load. Brandon, what are you seeing with this?
Well, you just mentioned to the north of Salyersville, we actually have a new report coming out of about 5 miles to the north of downtown Salyersville. Law enforcement reports hail of about quarter size. That's about 1 inch of diameter. That comes in at around 9:13, which is about 6, 7, 8 minutes ago. We got that report just to the north of Salyersville. So it's still producing some hail up to around quarter size, in addition to some of the rotation on radar. And Shane, you're going to explain some of the colors that they're seeing on here, because this isn't something that we normally show every day.
Yeah, you're right, Brandon. I'm about to step back over to the wall over here, but this is something we don't talk about every day, but it's very helpful for us in severe weather. And what we call is velocity mode. This is looking at the wind within the thunderstorm, and what we have is the green is showing wind blowing towards the radar, the red is wind blowing away from the radar site. And notice how we have these greens and reds together just to the north of Salyersville. That is a strong indicator to us that there's at least some rotation. Now, it's not tight rotation and it's not super strong rotation, but it's enough that it has us concerned. And you can see with this latest scan, continuing to see this area of broad rotation to the northeast of Salyersville. Some of the towns extending back up towards this, Falcon seeing this, Lickburg, back over towards Salyersville, and this is pushing off to the east and the southeast. So this eventually, excuse me, going to work its way down towards Prestonsburg, and will likely pass on US 23 between Paintsville and Prestonsburg. Once again, just getting every new sweep coming in. Not looking as impressive as it was, but once again, folks, this is starting to get towards the edge of the radar. We'll switch this back over to reflectivity to show you the traditional radar view. But this storm not looking as organized as it was, and as we go over to the classic radar, you can see it's also not as strong as it was. Notice we're now missing the pinks and the purples. We just have those reds, so that's an indication that at least for now, the storm is weakening, which is good news, but it's still strong enough that you need to seek shelter between Prestonsburg and Paintsville as it pushes off to the south and the east. This thunderstorm moving into Inez looks like no warning right now, but there is some potential for some hail there with those pinks and purples showing up on the radar. And this is the one active tornado warning we still have. Once we lose this warning, we'll be done with the tornado warnings, at least for the time being, and hopefully knocking on a little wood, this will be the end of it. What we're going to do right now is just take a few minutes and head over to the Prestonsburg Stonecrest Golf Course weather cam and just see if we can pick up on any lightning in the distance there. Not a ton of lightning showing up on radar from the storm, but we'll just take this for a minute or so and see if we can catch